He deserved, for every single second he cheated, he deserves a
Craig?
tooth to be knocked out.
Craig.
This is now
Craig?
on cam. We're live.
I want that captain.
This
I want
conversation.
that captain.
Shush. This conversation is ceasing now. We're recording.
No.
Good morning, internet.
I was gonna
Or
say
good
America.
afternoon or good evening, wherever you may be at this point in time, watching us idiots and watching Craig get
Or-
censored.
Or
Dream still cheated.
Craig.
or I'm wearing a dad shirt. I'm channeling dad energy right now. I'm going to rip off the best YouTube dad. Sup, you beautiful bastards. Paul, how have you not watched Philip DeFranco?
Oh, sexy Phil. Okay.
Wait, how did you know? How do you know that, but not know that that's the intro?
How do you not know that's... It's not like that hasn't been his intro for like the decade he's been on YouTube.
It's not like I haven't watched him in like 7 years.
It was just the thing of my top row knew what he was referring to, my bottom row just looked confused as hell. As we welcome you all back to Twisted Fates. Before we go off on another tangent, I think the counter was like at 8 tangents last episode, so we'll try and keep it to a minimum this episode. As always, I am your Dungeon Master, and these are my boys, who do not need any introduction at this point because, well, we're 20 episodes in, so if you've not known them at this point...
It's the 20th episode, this is huge.
We're like the fucking silence from Doctor Who. They just forget us as soon as they stop looking at us.
I don't think I've ever been in a D&D campaign that's lasted 20 sessions. I've been in a lot of campaigns, but they usually end around like 10.
I have but never
either.
to never to the conclusion. It's usually just like we get together every week and play games, and they kind of just continue to droll on. This has been like the first, like, I guess, milestone 20th session where it's like I can actually look at it and go, "Fuck, guys, we played 20 sessions of this."
Yeah, how
We're
do we make it
level
this
8.
far? How have we not all died? I mean, actually.
You have twice.
Twice. I just need to enhance Roderick's nameplate and just point and be like, "This is he died twice. This is now where we're at."
Enhance the image.
Just like faded images of like Marcosaurus Dragonborn and elf forms, just to remember that he has died twice.
Just shitty MS Paint tribute in the arms.
Shitty Titanic edit in the background, but both of them are Marcosaur.
I make this fucking joke like I'm not the man who killed him both
twice.
times.
Yeah, but you didn't mean it, even if you did.
I mean,
I did not.
The first time was kind of like a 50-50.
The second time.
The second time you
not the
really
first
didn't
time,
mean
yeah.
it.
I did not kill him, I did not.
I did not. Oh, hi,
Oh, hi,
buddy.
Mark. Oh, hi, Marcus-san.
I shifted from tragedy to comedy, and that's how I live my life.
Ewan just likes to forget his tragedy by making jokes about it.
Yeah,
Isn't that what we all do?
How do you deal with trauma? I don't.
I pretend it doesn't exist.
behind
Don't have trauma, forehead.
but behind this fucking carnival is probably like the world's most depressing melodrama, but I'm just not showing it.
Just smile and laugh, boys.
Smile and
wave.
laugh.
Smiling through the pain.
Wow, this got dark. Let's
It did,
continue.
yeah. Let's have a happy recap. What happened last session? Well, actually, not very many good things happened last session either.
Smiling through the pain.
The pain keeps coming.
As Roderick and Ranaagash had a relatively heated conversation, as I don't think Roderick really trusts the half-orc very much. Roderick had a heated conversation with Eidolon, kind of, about secrets. You guys had a heated conversation.
Mercenary group.
You guys had a heated conversation with Azamir. Azamir disappeared. You guys weren't really happy about that, as you had to fight off some blighted creatures and left. Well, we're left with the aftermath. Though, in saying that, Ran never really saw that, considering he was trapped in a vision for quite some time.
Alright, Azamir, you big fucking nerd, where's my fucking money?
Quite literally, I
told
feel
you
like
we couldn't trust this man.
literally the attitude of Roderick at the end of last session.
It's just that fucking, it's the fucking Moon Knight meme, but it's just Wolfric, and it's like, you fucking nerd, where's my money?
Dracula, you fucking nerd.
I want that to be real so bad, but I just know it's
so
not
sad
real.
it isn't. It's so sad that it isn't.
But yeah, you kind of, I guess, had an eventful last session, at least in terms of the information you learned specifically, obviously, about Azamir, and perhaps your arrival in Kinreen, Ranaagash also got some relatively interesting information about the future for Eidolon, perhaps, as well as...
Yeah, but he's not going to share it, is he?
He might!
He won't.
I'm looking
Share
at
it
that
with
face, Matthew.
He won't share it with me, your man, Roderick.
Yeah, but...
Who would?
Who would?
Mr. Yeah, who hasn't killed an innocent man?
It's not what I said. You're taking it out of context.
Oh.
Actually, what you did say was that, you kind of backpedaled on the fact that you couldn't remember if you killed an innocent man or not.
Okay, fantasy Joe Rogan, we'll take what you say.
As...
Welcome to We Never Start the Session Tonight. Ewan's way too proud of that one.
No, I think something in me just fucking broke.
We'll
Have
get
you
there
had caffeine
eventually.
today?
It only took 20 sessions.
Yeah, well actually I've been broken for a long time, so who's gonna break next? As
Indeed.
were you boys able to keep your stats from last session in terms of current HP and spell slot usage?
I'm on 27 hit points.
I'm on 63.
And 3 spell slots.
Because I forgot to tell you boys that obviously you will not have a rest between last session and this, as obviously you guys finished your combat and then headed for Kinreen.
Yeah, I don't think I took any damage, so I'm still on 63.
Little laddie fucking doll, look at you.
I mean, my max health is 73 now, so it's just making my way back up there.
My max is pretty high now.
How much is it now?
85. I think I did it right.
Ooh, a D12 plus con.
Yes, but I also put my ASI into con, so I got
What's your con now?
16.
Yeah, retroactively your health will go up by 1 for every level.
But I am max health. Not max health, max strength, sorry.
20.
20.
Big ol' 20.
I mean, that's kind of the point of him though, he's supposed to be strong.
Big, strong, stupid.
I mean, yes, he's got a -1 to wisdom and intelligence.
And also, a point of exhaustion.
Yeah,
Do you have a point of exhaustion?
he's still sitting on a point of exhaustion because he frenzied.
Welcome to Berserkers.
Let's go.
After your combat, after the revelation of Azamir leaving you, after Ranaagash joining the combat relatively late after being trapped in a vision by Gairdra, and having a relatively interesting conversation with the man, Ran's possible future should things go wrong, we rejoin the four of you.
Don't let it go wrong.
Where you have lost technically 3 of your horses. The only ones you have left are the stallion that was gifted to Ewan, the warhorse, by Sorrow, and Roderick's Clydesdale, as they were the only 2 horses that were at least semi-equipped for combat. The others were more, I guess, drafts that were riding horses, not actual fighting horses, so they died pretty quickly to the blighted creatures.
If D&D isn't a game, why do I keep winning?
I wouldn't say you're winning with the amount
I
of
keep
times
my
you've gone
horse,
down.
it's winning in my eyes.
He has his horse and he still has Snapdragon.
What if you just morphed them into one? Like Dragon Ball Fusion giants?
That's fucking terrifying.
No.
What if they had a baby?
Also no, because it's a stallion, which means it would have to be Snapdragon that would have the baby, and planar pregnancies probably won't go very well.
I'm curious to see how it goes.
I don't want to draw that Punnett square.
How many different genetic sequences does Snapdragon have?
I don't want to think it. I don't want to think
I'm
about
not
that.
dignifying this. Can we talk about literally fucking anything else?
Well, we can talk about Kinreen, as that's where you guys will be going. As getting into, I guess, the early evening, you guys will be arriving in the small village through its... Here I need to know my cardinal directions, which I don't. Southern side. A set of southern pillars more than a southern gate that lead into a very, very small town. Quite close-knit, quite close together. A lot of the buildings aren't that sporadic though. They are tall to some degree, most are 3 to 4 stories, and kind of a bit more dishevelled and put together. But the town itself kind of sits on a dirt road rather than a cobble road, kind of layers of gravel and sand, and is surrounded by mire, as it's kind of nestled in what probably would have been quite a wide glade at one point, but obviously there has been a little bit of deforestation in order to make way for the houses, though You see that there are no like dead stumps lying around, everything has been well treated, trees have been replanted, the forest's been allowed to grow, even the grass around the village has been allowed to grow. It's just they've cleared space for their own expansion. Though that seems to have stopped.
Wipes a single tear. Marcusar would have loved this. More just gesturing to Ranaagash. This is your home turf, where are we going?
Things first, and I'd walk over to one of the pillars and just bear hug it. Oh god, I'm home. It's been a rough couple of months.
How long's it been since we've all individually headed out?
So for yourself, Ranaagash, and Wolfric, it'll have been about 4 months now. You guys will have been together for nearly 2 months of that time. Marcusar would have been 3 months. Roderick has been about 5 days. Well, actually about 11 days since leaving Kinreen, going to Westcross, and then coming back with Azamir and co.
I'll let Ran have his passionate moment with his
pillar.
Again, it's been 4 months. Let me have this.
Hey, I'm not letting you have it.
No, he's home. The boy never left home before in his entire life, and then packed up and left.
You can take the boy out of Kinreen, but you can't take the Kinreen out of the boy.
No, after a minute, I just like stand up, compose myself, dust myself off a bit. Right, where are we heading? Think for a moment. Check my map.
We have a map on the screen.
We do have a map on screen. That's where I'm checking. Where do we want to go?
I did also send you the expanded location doc, didn't I, Matthew?
Yes, you did.
Cool. I just want to make sure I did, because I can't remember if I did.
I do. I have it here. I have it now. I'll stealthily check it again at some point.
So it's more just gesturing for you, Ranaagash. Where are we going? Because you told us where Azamir looked like he was, but this is your sort of home turf. So where could you take us resembling that, or are you taking us to rest first?
I mean, yeah, it's probably a good idea to rest first, given it's evening and I am on 5 hit points.
Oof.
Oh.
Well, obviously Ran would obviously know kind of where to go, where to stay. There are some options, but Roderick's also based here, so he also has options.
I mean, we're in a bit of a big time rush, so we better get going.
Wolfric, can you actually heal Ranaagash? Do you have the capability to do so?
Abracadabra, 40 hit points.
He only has 40 hit points.
Abracadabra, 35 hit points.
I leveled up. I have 6 more hit points. That puts me at like just 1 off full.
Abracadabra, 40 hit points.
Well, Ran, if you can take us anywhere where we can just have a quick seat, make sure we're all composed, and we can head off to wherever you think this glade might be.
Caravan yard, then, I suppose.
What did you just say?
Caravan yard.
If that's where we can rest, then yes.
I mean, if we're just resting for a moment, I don't suppose an inn would be necessary.
No, well, we can stay in one after we have found. As he'd more just give a deep sigh instead of gifting that statement with a name.
Until we found them.
Give a nod over to Wolfric.
We get our money.
More at this point, we make sure he's not dead. Sorry, Yun.
And answers, that'd be useful. But money's there.
As I'd more just gesture for Ranaagash to lead on.
Okay, I will lead to Caravan Yard.
So the streets of Kinreen are very, very wide. They're not very narrow. There's not really any tight alleys. Everything's kind of built for horse and cart. And from that, the roads themselves are, I guess, a little bit more uneven. Quite a few cart tracks and potholes. Though most of it is dry, given the time of year. Though there is starting to get a thin layer of frost on the ground, as the cold months are starting to creep in. The caravan yard itself sits quite far out of town. I say quite far, it's only like maybe 5 minutes, if that. You can see it from the edge, and there are quite a few caravans, tarps and tents, even just some bare carriages and carts that have been stations set up, the horses tied to a post and given water, where there is quite a few people around a relatively blazing, almost bonfire rather than campfire, sitting having drinks, playing music, general merriment going into the evening. For yourself, Ranaagash, and for yourself, Roderick, several of the faces around said bonfire will be relatively familiar to you. Roderick, several of them will be your own party members, other members of the Unfortunate Sons that tend to use the campsite as a base, at least when they're staying in town. You do have a more permanent base not too far from here, but that's more a location on a need-to-know basis. The other members that kind of stay and gather around the camp are mostly orcs. There is an orc woman that seems to be, I guess, leading the campfire in relatively drunken and rambunctious song, though she herself is pretty good. That can't be said for the people who are revelling with her. And there also appears to be a couple of what look like hunters, at least tending to the fire and at least themselves having a bite to eat. There is only one caravan, I guess, that seems to have its lights on and is relatively extravagantly decorated. It's a caravan that, Ranaagash, you have been told for your entire life to avoid like the plague. And Roderick, whilst not being told to avoid it, you tend to avoid it anyway, as the old woman that is inside is, well, to you and the rest of your band, she's a bit mad.
Yeah, absolutely.
With her ramblings and ravings. Though, I guess as you make your way over, the orcs end up obviously seeing yourself, Ranaagash. They know you quite well. They hail you down with your companions, whereas on the opposite side, Roderick, your own band hail you down.
Go over and see my boys.
I just kind of look to the side at Wulfric, just kind of shrug and go after Ranaagash.
Yeah, we'll go.
Not much we can do. We're just here to rest up as best as possible. Unless just because we're the only ones who don't know about it, we could go and walk into this shady-looking tent that they both have been told to avoid.
Yeah, but that's someone's property. You don't go walking into someone's property.
Very good point. We are law-abiding citizens.
Occasionally.
Are we?
Roderick, if you commit one more crime,
Says the man who cut off a man's tongue.
it's not a crime. I didn't get caught.
That's not how crimes work.
As for yourself, Ranaagash, obviously Eidolon and Wulfric end up following you. It is Lupa who primarily beckons you over. She kind of stops playing her lute and lets you take a seat, though before you can even sit down, her arm is almost around you and she's pulling you down to your seat. She is about ages with your mum. She's a bit older. She's known you just growing up, both when you stayed in the forest and when you stayed in town. But she is a bit more free-spirited than that. She prefers staying with the travellers, doesn't particularly like staying with the orcs, and enjoys company but doesn't enjoy too much company. Hence it suits her quite well being in the town rather than being in the forest. And she kind of pulls you down. Roderick at this point will have sat at the opposite side of the fire with his own mates, as she kind of laughs. So, wee one, where have you been?
East. Quite a few places. Citadel, Summerhouse, Westcross.
Your mum will be glad to know you're home.
She will.
You are going to see her, aren't you?
I'm not stupid. We have things to do. And I figured I might do them first before I get caught up.
If your mum heard you saying that, I don't think she'd be too happy.
I know. I left for 4 months. She's not going to be happy anyway.
That is true. She was hoping you'd be home by now, but I'm assuming she understands why you left, so can't stay in that forest forever, can we? I think she'll just be a bit upset that you didn't bring someone home. Well, that is unless she kind of more raises an eyebrow to Eidolon and Wulfric.
No, she'll be upset.
Really? Quite handsome, those two.
Do we have alcohol?
Like not looking at that, I'm gonna point like Wulfric, like he's got someone. He's complicated.
Excuse me?
He's not wrong though, is he?
Eidolon opens his mouth to say something, realizes that Wulfric's correct, and closes his mouth.
The kind of orcish woman looks at the two of you, looks between the three of you, looks at Ran and laughs. Honey, we're orcs. It's always complicated. You're not going to stay pretty forever, you know.
I didn't mean that kind of complicated.
Why does this woman want you to fuck someone so bad, Ranaagash? Jesus.
Doing it on behalf of my mother, Craig.
Why does the question remains the same? She's a different woman.
Because I'm like middle-aged for an orc. And so they're kind of concerned.
It's like it's getting to the push line. Nothing's happened yet.
Like, for a half orc, I'm not quite there, but for a full orc, I'm about middle-aged. They're really concerned.
Your best years are behind you, Ran.
As I'd more just perk up during that. Did you at least tell your mother that you were leaving?
Yes, of course.
I'd side-eye Wolfric with that and then turn back.
My mother thinks I'm dead.
You could have sent a letter.
Correspondence has been sent. My parents will be made aware. I
If I'm
don't
honest,
have
Sonny, you probably should have told them earlier.
I didn't realise until I spoke with the person who will tell them
That they thought you were dead.
She kind of leans into Ranaagash. I'll look her, but I think you can do better.
Again. Yes, someone.
Again, we're orcs. Not everyone's like your mum and dad.
Assuming I can hear all this.
Yes. She's like, it's like that kind of thing where she's leaning in to whisper, but she's not whispering.
You do know this woman, right? And she's not just actively harassing you, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been harassing him his whole life. And she kind of stretches out a hand for you, Eidolon. My name is Lupa. I'm a friend of Ran's mother.
Relaxing ever so slightly, but still, after what happened the night before, I'd lean in and shake the hand. Eidolon.
Shake her hand. Wolfric.
Pleasure, gents. It's nice to see someone with Ran other than Bartak.
And that would be?
Well, the two of you.
No.
No. Who's Bartak? We don't know who that is.
He's... was son of the chief, now chief of Mire. He's, quite the lad for quite a lot of time, I will be honest, as she kind of nudges Ran. Me and Frida thought that perhaps there was something going on, but, turns out Bartak doesn't swing that way, so he's got himself some wives, got himself the chieftain, and here's Ranaagash all alone still.
Matthew, how are you feeling right now?
At what point does this just become targeted at me in real life?
It already is. This is projecting. Seems like a rather important name that you failed to mention so far.
He's chief of Maya, not chief of everywhere.
Eidolon gives a shrug. Actually, I don't have much else to say, so I'd more just give a shrug and head back to drinking and let whatever this woman's saying continue, because I'm enjoying her ripping into Ranaagash. It's funny.
Oh, you gave me permission to do this, Matthew. I'm reveling in this.
I'm just not giving you permission to do things.
Yeah, but then it's way less fun.
Yeah, don't ever give me permission, don't make a bet with me. Two things you never do.
I do both of those things, often.
Yeah. And lose, often.
Yeah.
That explains so much about you.
Excuse me? Want to finish that sentence, Ewan?
I did.
As I guess leaving the three of you to your reveling and your drinks, and Ranaagash going from a tan shade of green to a very bright shade of red. We will jump to, I guess, the other side of the fire. Not very far, but far enough where, Roderick, you can hear, obviously, the reveling from Ranaagash. You can hear the rather boisterous attitudes of this woman towards him.
I'm gonna ask Ranaagash something before we leave, but I'll give Paul his time first.
Where you rejoin your band, they are all drinking themselves. Very happy to see you, raising a toast, raising a glass, and even handing you a tankard yourself.
Who specifically is there? Do I recognise any of them? Any noticeable PCs?
Like perhaps the list you gave me?
Yeah, maybe one of those names.
Both Gregor and Ingrid are there. God, I can't pronounce the top one.
It is a bit of a mouthful, but
it is, yeah. There's
Bracketar,
that's it. Hard K.
Yeah. Bracketar Briskblade.
Literally all of the joyous orcish names. Ran's easy because he's just all A's. Yeah,
Right.
Bracketar is not there.
Oh, okay. It's like what I feel like. Me and the boys, we don't even like say anything. We just it's more just like kind of like no words are said, but we all understand. I down my pint, my tankard, and have any of you seen Bracketar around?
Ingrid kind of looks up, pours more from a barrel, and downs it quite quickly. Last I saw of him, he was back at base. I think he's coming in the night. You'll probably find him at some point.
And by any chance, have any of you seen an elf called Azamir come through here?
Elf? No. Only people we've seen come through here are... She points to the other side of the fire. Those three who came in with you.
Well, this elf has eluded us, and he still owes us money. So if you see him around, let me know. Or one of them.
Who are one of them?
Well, you got Wolfie. I think he's a Iron Dragon. And we got bastard Ran. he's the half orc, and then some smug prick from Maramba.
Interesting bunch. How'd you end up with them?
We all got hired in Westcross. Wouldn't have chose them myself.
An Iron Dragon? Yeah, neither would I.
But they're not too bad, I suppose. Had to deal with some, and he's kind of like realizing like maybe I shouldn't tell him about these monsters that we fought. Just like we had to deal with some bandits. They held their own.
Yeah, I would hope so if they were held for a mission, but even then, well, he might be a southern dragon. At least they don't seem to be a complete failure.
Well, I believe he's a northern Iron Dragon. He's going to the Gildenfeld.
What, and you've not warned them about the North Roads?
Not my business.
Fair enough. You could have got some coin out of it, though. If she kind of pats you on the back.
The only coin I need right now is from that little elf bastard. So, if you see anything, let Big Armstrong know immediately.
I can't happen to hear this from across the fire, can I?
With a 20 passive perception, yes.
Very entertaining.
Right. And if you see Bracketar, tell him I'm looking for him.
To be fair, he might be looking for you, as Gregor kind of pipes up and kind of looks over the edge of his pint. He's been trying to get the boys together. He wants to talk to us about something, so he'll be happy you're back in town.
Boys are back in town. No.
Starts a musical number from across the fire.
Boys back in town, the boys are back in town. Okay. Are we having a big sesh, are we?
I think he's heard something that could be quite profitable.
I'm very interested.
Emor wants to see, I guess, who's interested in the coin and who wants a cut.
You know, I'm always keen.
You've never not been.
It's what I do best, and what I do best isn't very nice.
What most of us do isn't very nice, but we get good coin at the end of it.
Aye. I wonder what I'll spend it all on eventually. Maybe a nice cottage by the sea. You know, something peaceful. Nah, fuck that lot. I want to fight.
Ingrid kind of laughs, swirls her glass. What, not going to spend it on that woman down the road?
You know, keep that on the hush-hush, you know. Don't want the word getting out that Roderick's settling down. I need to let people know that I'm still available. You know, put feelers out.
Gregor laughs and kind of almost nudges you, knocking the liquid out your tankard. Trust me, from the way you act with her, people know you're still available, mate.
I do like a few punches in the arm and shit like you cheeky dog. But I suppose I'll go rejoin them. But keep up the good work, referencing all their drinking.
There's a few empty barrels that have had their tops popped off.
That maybe just fill up one, just and take it over to the other three. Like, all right.
Yeah, but just whilst he's over there, whilst Ranaagash is having a quick conversation with the orcish lady, I will lean into Wolfric and just make him aware. Yeah, they don't seem to like your band very much.
Well, that's their problem.
No, I mean more specific. They don't seem to mind the Southern Iron Dragons, but I don't know. Why might they refer to the Northern Iron Dragons as? Does he more just look over, peg his ears a little bit? Complete failure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they seem to just be talking about some woman now, but as Idle would more just give you a shrug.
I mean, I'm entitled to think whatever they want, I suppose.
I suppose that's enough for me then.
Free speech.
As
That's me fine though.
kind of coming to this point, Roderick will kind of, I guess, come over, rejoin the group.
Anchored in hand.
You will know this orcish woman. She occasionally has joined your band in their drinking and in their merriment. She's quite a good musician. She has quite a lot of talent and skill in that area. Her name is Lupa. However, she seems to be very, I guess, close to and fussing over Ranaagash in particular. She gets close to people, but I guess this is a little bit different from how you've seen her before. She seems to be very close to Ranaagash. Almost kind of, I guess, like, mothering him to a degree.
So what have you lot been on talking about?
Not much. I've been catching up with Ran. He's been adventuring.
Oh, I'm aware.
Oh?
Nothing to worry about. Shoots at and gives like a glare at Ranaagash. Still pissed off at you for like going into the woods and not telling me about it.
Come on, Roderick. You've got to tell me something. Ran's not going to tell me anything.
Did you know he has visions?
She kind of just stops. Ranaagash,
Yes?
this is just something we tell everyone now, yes?
He's just gonna point to the other two. He's just gonna shrug.
She sighs.
As I'd more look at the woman and just say, because I don't know. Oh, I don't know what's understood among the people here, but it's just he's not gonna get anywhere without telling people.
We know. We just don't like people knowing.
Believe me, it would also be preferred if just points at Roderick. It was still a little bit more obscure, but no harm's done. And if harm is done, then harm simply comes that way instead.
You're going to have to tell your mum, Ran.
I know.
You don't seem too pleased about that. Directing it towards Ranaagash.
Would you be?
Would I be what?
Oh, you know everything. Well, you know. You know what this is. You know what. You know.
Yeah, alright, I know. We're just giving you a shake of the head. And if we're going by that logic, you know that I know that you know that I know. So continue as you're doing. We've got about 5 minutes.
5 minutes until what?
We head back out, you know where, you at least have the closest idea of where we're going to try find him.
Okay.
Is this a short rest, by the way?
It would be a short rest, yes. So key points, hit die, spell slots, if you want.
That didn't work. There we go.
Lupa kind of sighs, looks at the four of you. So how much has the wee one told you?
Enough that I'm trying to help him.
And you've not asked him for anything?
I have nothing to ask of him. I've asked favors, and he's been willing to help. That's about it. I need nothing more.
Then I guess that is something.
What, have you expected him to be used and abused when he left?
It's a worry. We'll leave it at that.
He's shown capable enough to handle himself.
Mm-hmm.
Is there evidence here that proves the contrary? More gesturing between both Ranaagash and this woman.
I'm not going to say anything. It's not my place to say anything, but I guess if you do meet Frida, make sure that you ensure that your intentions are known. She might be kinder on you that way.
I take it this is your mother.
Yes.
Wait, you're Frida's son?
Yes.
Now that you mention it, I do see the similarities, yeah.
Don't tell me Roderick's Gaston.
I do eat 12 eggs.
Is it bad that my brain immediately went to the fucking Ray William Johnson song? Like like Roderick said that my brain immediately fucking screamed from the depths of my memory, doing your mom.
That's a memory I didn't want to come back to my head.
Yeah.
Please take it back, Ewan.
No, you have
Please
it
take.
now.
No, I don't want. I don't
Do
want
you
it.
want a memory even worse, Craig?
Okay.
You are now manually breathing.
Tell your mouth.
Do you want to begin manually blinking, though, Ewan?
Fuck you!
Continue, Paul and Matthew.
I see the resemblance, and Roderick's demeanor be noticeably less hostile towards Ranaagash now.
I don't think I like that.
I don't like these implications.
What do you mean? Nothing's implied.
A
How
lot
old
is
is Roderick
implied.
again?
Sorry?
How old is Roderick again?
He doesn't really know.
He's
but
like
about 50.
he's about 50.
Are your parents still together, Ranaagash?
Yeah. I mean, they don't live together, but they are together.
Like everything okay at home? Like are they doing well?
Yeah.
Oh
That's
no.
what I heard anyway.
Who are you looking at, me or Paul?
No.
Moving on from potential home wrecking. Eidolon would more just stand up, dust himself off. Come on, we've taken enough time sitting around as is.
Right.
You can visit your mother and have her judge your decisions as ever harshly as she wants when we get back.
Yes.
Come on, lead on.
No. Lead on.
I need a survival check from you, Ranaagash.
Is the book able to assist him?
I mean, he could, but at that point, I'd need him to use one of the book's spells. I can only give him so much free information.
I should know where I'm going. You know, I live here.
Do you have a
but
portent?
you're trying to piece together a location from some Maya's text.
I mean, I can make this very easy and just, you know what, I prepared this level. Locate creature. You know?
Then do it.
Yes. Here we go. Let's try a fancy new trick. You know, there's two people I set out to use this on, and may as well use it for one of them. So yeah, locate creature. Or let's check the wording of that spell.
Describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. You sense the direction of the creature's location as long as the creature is within 1,000 feet. And if it's moving, you know the direction of its movement. Weirdly, it can't locate a creature if running water at least 10 feet wide blocks a direct path between you and the creature.
Yeah, which is strange. So who do you name? Do you name Azamir?
Yeah.
Cool. Using your, I guess, locate creature to locate creature as everyone else is finishing their tankards, kind of readying themselves for the journey. You are able to locate him, or at least kind of. He seems to kind of almost be blinking. Kind of like 30 foot sometimes, 60 feet another time, even like 100 feet almost round in a kind of sphere, as if there is something disturbing his exact location. As you're able to pick up, I guess perhaps a 100-foot radius, 200-foot circle of Maiar, where he could be, but he could be anywhere within that 200 feet.
Boy, let's split up and look for clues.
Come on, gang, let's split up and look for clues.
What's the closest thing we have to like Shaggy and Scooby?
Whoa.
Oh,
Wolford
no, not
and
yet.
his planar horse that you can summon.
Essentially, yeah.
Or is there like a dog we can stick Roderick with?
I want a dog. Yeah. That's what I'm going to spend all my money on.
He just wants a dog.
Doggo. Yeah,
Exactly.
as you have
How do you
a
lead us?
general location, you don't have a specific location. There is something interfering with your magic.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. How do I phrase this in a way that doesn't make me sound like an idiot? How big is the glade? Or how big is the glade? A glade?
For Kinreen.
Yes, this one.
I don't know in terms of distance. I'd probably say, like... This is the problem, I don't know, like, actual geographical hilariousness. And the towns that I could compare it to, you probably don't know. In terms of size. Maybe, like, 2 or 3 miles, just in terms of its length. And obviously not included, like... I know, I don't know, like, actual town distances. I'm not good at distance.
It's just a case of survival at this point, I think. Because magic has failed us.
As it always does.
This is why we just hit things really hard.
Arcane martial class.
Silence caster.
Silence, D6 hit die.
Silence wench.
I
do not wish to be horny anymore.
Just to be happy.
Just want to be happy.
We have every hit die. We have a D6, a D8, a D10, and a D12.
So we do.
Have you made the survival yet, Matthew?
+2.
I'll give you advantage because you do have your locate creature.
Hey. Okay.
I was going to make a really bad joke, but I decided to stop myself.
Good, I'm
As
proud
you
of you,
should.
Ian.
It's gonna make it now anyway.
Nope. No, I'm going to resist it. I'm not going to do it.
16. So you kind of head out of town. You head through the kind of western portion of the caravan yard. Cardinal directions are going to really fuck me tonight, as well as distances. You are able to walk mire. The trails themselves are, I guess, quite quiet. Not unfamiliar being late at night, but even then you don't hear anything in terms of hunting parties or even scouting parties, which is somewhat unusual. You are able to get to the radius where I guess you are able to pick up Azamir's signal. But Azamir is not here. At least not in the radius that you can see. But I guess the unsettling thing is when the 4 of you step into this area, obviously expecting overgrowth, foliage, something to, you know, start searching through. There's not really anything for you to search through, as the big oaks of Maiar, these almost redwood style oak trees, have been crushed, broken and flattened in the roughly 200 foot diameter circle.
I turn to Wolfric and just say, "It looks like what you're looking for has been here."
Great. We just gotta hope that it hasn't hurt anyone in the process.
Inrin didn't look damaged. That's the best we've got currently. Moran, anything here?
No, but let's try something, and I'm gonna cast detect magic as well. See what, if anything spooky's going on.
As you detect magic, you're blinded for perhaps a second, as there is a lot of traceable magic here. Most of it seems to be quite a corrupted form of the School of Abjuration, essentially warding magic. Likely the reason why your locate creature is, I guess, starting to blink is whatever this ward is. Essentially, this was Azamir's last known location. You can't find his location after he left here because there is something essentially scrubbing his existence from this location. So you can't find where he is afterwards.
Just to make sure we're not missing anything, and I guess this would be the first time Roderick's seen it too, Eidolon would more just cast his left arm to the side as these sort of black veins on his neck sort of crawl up over the scarf.
Mm-hmm.
As it slowly starts to take a more physical form of about half of a mask at this point. Before it was just the veins, and it's starting to actually take a more spectral form as the visage activates. It's also getting dark, so it helps me see in the dark now. See through magical and non-magical darkness, but thanks to my little amulet, I can also see through invisibility and stuff. So if anything's invisible, whether greater, regular, any sorts, I'll be able to see it.
Can both yourself and Ranaagash give me perception checks with advantage?
Advantage.
Can you also remember what your portents are for today, Matthew?
How did I roll lower than my passive perception?
-1.
How did Matthew roll the same as me?
He actually rolled in that 20 with a -1.
Matthew, how did we roll the same?
You need to top in perception modifier when you have luck.
Perhaps it is because you have your detect magic up, Ranaagash, that you are able to see it before Eidolon. It feels kind of weird that you're able to spot something before he does. It takes a little bit of time for him to notice. As Eidolon, you are not so much, I guess, tracking invisible creatures, but more invisible energies. Small signatures that seem to be left behind that in your sight seem to translate as more dying wisps of a seemingly airborne infection, residue of
Fun.
whatever has been left behind by whatever has made this deforested area. For yourself, Ranaagash, it seems to be, I guess, more a trace of magic, as in the dirt, in the ground, whilst there is a lot of claw marks, whilst there are a lot of large beast prints, as well as quite a lot of, I guess, draconic features being implanted into the mud and dirt and on the sides of trees, you do see footprints. The reason they pop up on your detect magic is it seems to be that some residual magic has apparently been left upon them. As... fuck, I can't remember if it's left or his right hand side. I did this last time. Eidolon's left, he's on his right hand side. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Cardinal direction.
I got it
Not
right!
even that.
I need
Left,
just
right.
left and right on my laptop. As the right hand side is a more monstrous footprint, quite buried quite deep into the earth, very large, possibly canine, though has more of a feline look to it, at least in terms of some of its pads. It's the claws that more strike it as canine, as they're not retractable, they're very much digging into the earth. And the other foot itself is quite a hefty boot that doesn't look too dissimilar to Eidolon's, at least when pressed in mud. However, the footprints walk ever so slightly. The left hand side one shrinks ever so slightly, perhaps by a size or two, and as the footsteps continue and the magic is left kind of lingering, this very, I guess, residual transmutation magic, the right hand side foot switches from that of a beast to that of a man, matching the left hand foot, as it walks back the way the four of you came.
I don't like the sound of that.
It only means good things. Any trace of Azamir, however?
None. As at least for Roderick and Wolfric, you are just watching Ranaagash and Eidolon stare at some footprints in the mud.
As I just sigh, turn to Ranaagash. Chances he's gone now.
Yeah.
You worried for Kinrain? More gesturing towards the footprints that seem to be heading back in that direction.
A bit.
Just as long as you haven't made him angry at you, you should be fine.
Okay, now I'm worried quite a bit.
Eidolon raises an eyebrow as he looks at you.
He holds my back against the wall and I'm gonna spin in his face.
Please, do not tell me you insulted him. Ranaagash,
Yeah.
what did you say?
Let me remember.
There's been multiple times you've insulted him.
No, I'm just thinking of how to put it into words. You know how he liked your... That's weird. Sounds weird, but it's the correct word. Liked your wife?
Increasingly so recently, yes.
Yeah. May have picked at that scab a bit.
Listen, let's finish up around here. Make sure Azamir's definitely not here. And then you should probably go check on your home.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
And if you don't mind, I'll be coming with you. By the way, Wolfric, Roderick, you will have likely been open to that conversation, as we are in a glade. Rather difficult to...
Hide a conversation.
So are we any closer to finding this bastard?
We're gonna give it one last look, but chances are he's been completely wiped out of existence. Which is fun.
And what about his money that he owes us?
Likely also wiped out of existence. How that sort of shtick works.
Fucking great.
Eidolon just gives a shrug as he looks at you more confused. It's just money.
What do you mean, just money? Money's everything.
You wish. Come on, Ran.
I don't
We need to make sure one last time. Wolfric,
like getting my labour exploited.
Right.
can you do anything with your new Seymour gesture, your axe? Anything that could help you give a look around with us?
No.
Then, more basically, could you just use your eyes?
Yeah,
That he can do.
that I can do.
As one last look around, see if we can't find him, or any trace of him, except from the tracks lead back into Kinrain.
So Roderick and Wolfric, if you are participating in having a look around, perception, investigation, or survival, whichever you are more proficient at.
That's not bad, Ewan.
This is with disadvantage because you've still got exhaustion.
Thank you.
Until you take a long rest.
2 6s.
For you guys taking kind of a last look around, Roderick, you can't really find anything. It seems to be that whatever was here is rather unsettlingly big.
Okay.
It's nothing like you've ever seen before. It's not any tracks you've ever seen before. It's, I guess, mimics some of the wolf tracks you saw on the road, as it looks like perhaps a draconoid creature in terms of its size, its scale, some of the marks it leaves behind, but some of its indentations on the nearby trees and even in the dirt and ground itself, even upon some of the rock, mean that it doesn't look like it's entirely intact, nor entirely one creature.
Okie dokie.
For yourself, Wolfric, again, you don't really find much other tracks, though you are able to find at least the footprints, these weird half man tracks that Ranaagash and Eidolon saw as they slowly morph into that of a man. For Eidolon and Ranaagash, you guys aren't really able to find much trace of Azamir, though Ranaagash, with your hilarious Nat 20, you are able to find smaller prints, though they seem to be at the centre or the epicenter of the more draconic markings. Perhaps the dragon itself either killed him, ate him, or took him away. You don't see any signs of a struggle though, so perhaps it is the latter rather than the prior. Though with your detect magic up, it is still quite blinding with the, I guess, residual ward that seems to be left over this place. Clearly someone didn't want their actions to be visible or traceable.
Unless Matthew shares that with us. I'm checking that.
Yeah, I'll relay that in some manner.
Is this more just going to be a sigh? Turn to the rest of them. Oh, he's definitely gone now.
Away with my fucking money!
Though in a more worrying sense, as I'd more turn to Ranaagash and Wolfric. Why lead us here if he's just going to be away with him now?
I suppose.
I just don't see a point. We stuck him with us till now, and then he just gets rid of him. I had a little more size. Can't really put something together with that. Unless he doesn't need those eyes anymore, I can't really put anything together. Come on, we need to head back to Kinreen then.
I need like the Batman fade in and fade out animation. I need to learn how to do that.
To the caravan yard!
You guys end up back in Kareen, you end up back in the caravan yard. Following Ranaagash, where does Ran go?
It's like evening still, isn't it?
Yeah. You're getting into kind of the later evening side of things.
We head to the tavern first.
Yes.
And Ran can deal with his disappointed mother in the morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's gonna be disappointed no matter what I do, so I may as well do it when go see her when I'm well rested. I cannot word today.
Words are not wording.
It's just, are you okay waiting now with the knowledge that he's wandered into your town?
Do I have a choice?
A shrug isn't an answer, Matthew.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
I've perfected the art of shrugging. Do not take it away from me.
See, you may have perfected an art, but when that art is useless, it is no longer considered an art. Or was that too targeted?
I came out here to have a good time, and I'm honestly feeling so attacked right now.
Yo, bro, I'm straight up not having a good time. If you guys are going to the tavern, Roderick would probably follow. Now that he's not getting paid for this job, he's going to look for more work. I think the tavern would maybe have some sort of like notice board.
There we go. More just head to the tavern. I still don't have any gold. Unfortunate. I can sleep outside.
I mean, yeah, we could probably just stay at the
Caravan yard.
Yeah.
If you just want to take us to the caravan yard, Matthew, I'd be okay doing that. Just the manacling might get a bit awkward.
I mean, when is it not awkward?
When there's not a crowd of people surrounding me.
Throw like a tarpaul over yourself or something. It's fine. They don't need to see it.
Yeah, can I use the stuff in my explorer's pack to make myself like a
Little tent.
little hideaway?
Technically you could, yes.
Well, there we go.
Excellent.
As you rest up by the caravan yard.
Presumably so, yes. Long rest.
as you would get a long rest. For Roderick that night, however, as the rest of you are obviously sleeping in various different locations, Bracketar ends up coming back into camp.
Oh, shit. Kind of drop whatever I was doing, really, to rush over to Bracketar.
It's more the fact that he kicks you awake.
Oh, fair enough.
As at this point you're probably about halfway through an actual rest and you get booted.
How very charming.
When have I ever been charming?
Good point. You're a rude...
Careful
You're
what your
pretty
next words are, Roderick.
Okay. I get up, do a big old stretch, and, you know, my old weary bones I crack with every stretch, you know. So, hey, you wanted to talk to me and the lads?
Most of the lads I've talked to, just you, really.
Well, I'm here. You can tell me anything.
We'll see.
Is it serious? I heard it was about money. And I'm in need of coin. The last job fell through.
How'd it fall through? You've never
Bastard
fucked up
ran
before?
off.
Ah.
I didn't fuck up. The fucker ran off. And then maybe, like, if I can see these three guys, I'm just like, them and all, none of us got paid. So...
He kind of sits down on his haunches. Yeah, I heard about the group you were travelling with. What are they like?
Not terrible. Obviously not as good as us. One's an Iron Dragon.
Southern Dragon?
Nah.
Well, can't blame a northerner for coming down here.
They all seem alright. We've fended off some bandits on the road and they held their own.
How well did they hold their own?
Well, I'm trying to remember. Did anyone go down in that fight? I don't think anyone did.
No. Eidolon and Eidolon and Wolfric held their own pretty well. Ranaagash didn't really appear for the start of the combat.
Oh yeah.
I would like to make note that I didn't take any damage.
Oh, nice flex.
It is a little bit.
Weird flex, but okay. No.
Totally, definitely weird flex. It's D&D.
Yeah, they're alright, but you know, they had secrets. The green one, he has visions, and the older one, the dragon, he said that he could see the end of the world, but I don't know. That could have just been a wee joke. Seemed convincing though. Then he's a watchman from Aramba. A pretty skilled fighter.
What's he doing out here?
God knows. That's the least weird thing about him.
What's weirder?
Oh, he manacles himself to sleep.
Yeah, that is pretty fucking weird.
He's a sleepwalker. I don't know. Anyway, enough of this. What have you got to tell me?
Oh, he didn't mention the tendrils.
Money, coin, enough coin to set you from this life and the next. Sound interesting?
Roderick would try to be like, play cool and be like, suppose. What you got?
How is he on the inside though?
On the inside he's like,
so much
He's 20 years younger.
money. I'm
Yes,
like,
money for me.
in my head, I'm imagining Roderick, like Scrooge McDuck, diving into a swimming pool of gold.
That's what's in his head right now.
Yeah. You're just like da da da, like backstroking in like a pool of coins. I'm on like a very nice beach somewhere with a hollowed out coconut with alcohol. You know,
Consider the coconut.
I'm wearing this Hawaiian shirt. I'm just like, and then I get snapped out of the daydream. Like, oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah, I suppose I'd be interested. What's the job?
That I'm still trying to work out.
Is it one of those jobs? You know, it's a need to know basis.
For now.
Oh, what are the specifics? Who's it for? Where am I going?
Where you're going? Nowhere. Who's it for? Whoever's paying us the most.
Okay. So you have a job, but you don't know who the job's from. Is this a job open to everyone? I need more specifics, come on. I don't want to be screwed out on a deal again.
When have I ever screwed you out of a deal, Roderick?
I'm pretty sure you cheat at poker, but whatever.
Once. Never again, I promised you.
Okay, so highest bidder. Don't really know what the job is, but it pays well.
As
I'm
I
up for it.
said, enough to set you in this life and the next.
I don't know. I think it's a challenge. I could probably spend it all in this life if I try my hardest. So, I'm in. Is there a set off date? When should I be ready for? Should I be ready now?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Sound.
I need some help, so I'm bringing some of the boys.
I was drinking with them yesterday. Good to see we're all in good health.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow night, I guess I'll just lounge around. I'll maybe tag along with those three over there. They've got some interesting stuff going on. And maybe there's still a chance I can get that money from an elf, Azamir. Did you see him?
No. Well, no elves have come in town recently.
Or maybe just I'll kick around with that lot, see what they uncover. Maybe I can get some money. But I am serious about this job. I'll do it, whatever it is.
That's what I like to hear, Roderick.
Good. Now can I go back to sleep a bit?
For an hour or two, and then I'll kick you back awake again.
Wouldn't have it any other way. And then I'd probably just like lay down and just like chill. Unless I can see what the rest of the party are doing.
The first time that perhaps Eidolon is sleeping, you're not too sure. He's kind of created a small
Excuse
tarp
me?
over, like, kind of some branches just outside of the caravan yard, just so he's not, I guess, exposed to everyone else here. Ranaagash and Wolfric, though, are kind of bedrolled, as they would normally, taking a sleep. They seem to, I guess, be comfortable enough, getting used to sleeping on hard ground.
Suppose I'd go over to the park. Seeing them three lazing about, I would kick them all awake. It's like, come on, we're gonna get a drink.
What time is it?
So, you guys will have been sleeping for maybe like 5-6 hours. Like, it's still... Sun's not broke when you guys get up, as at least for Wolfric and Ranaagash, you are booted awake.
We're going for a drink.
No.
Well, aren't you just a spoil sport? We don't
What
have
time?
to. It's time for a drink. It's happy hour somewhere.
What fucking time?
Fucking here.
Just wanted to go over any last little details. Because I might have another job lined up, so if this whole Azamir thing doesn't work out, then I'll probably just leave.
Alright, I'll get Eidolon up. And I'll go and I'll shake Eidolon.
More just looking up at you, looking out from the tarp.
It's still kind of dark.
Ulfric, it's still dark.
I know.
Then who doesn't?
Roderick, apparently.
If I got kicked awake, so are all of you.
Ran! You'd sort of just see a hand come out from the tarp, catch the key and just like pull it back in, and fiddle with my own locks and get up. Fine, as he'd say coming out the tarp. What are we doing then?
For a drink.
The tavern won't even be bloody open.
Nah, they will for old Roderick.
Will they?
Will they?
Depends who was operating it last night.
Fair enough. They had a lock-in or something. Wait. Okay. Well, we don't have to go anywhere if you don't want to. But what's this whole Azamir situation? Is he definitely gone?
Azamir's gone. Likelihood is we're not going to see him again.
Right,
That's
so-
that.
Well, I have another job lined up for tomorrow night. So, if you need a hand with anything today, I'm about.
We're going to be taking our time in Kinreen before heading off.
And doing what he's going to be up to.
I'd more just look at Ranaagash. He lives here.
I mean, should we not be a little bit concerned about that thing that we encountered?
That thing. Zedlon would more just shake his head.
You know, the things in the forest. Whatever that was flying overhead.
That means we're on the right path.
So we're going to be taking our time here, learning what we can, then we're going to be following where it's likely going. That's about it.
Will there be any kind of reward for slaying this beast?
You get to say you killed the dragon?
but
None of us are doing this for a reward.
what's the point in doing anything
No one's hired
if
us.
if not for a reward?
I'm doing this so I can fucking go home.
You sure you want to go home?
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I just know that some of the roads up north are a bit dangerous.
I don't know who the fuck you think I am.
You're an Iron Dragon, aren't you?
Yes, so I can handle myself.
Let's hope so.
Insight check. Getting shady shit from this motherfucker.
So, just a deception?
Give me more of a performance, Paul.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Great, I'm just as good in that.
Oh my.
That's the rule that's the rule to beat.
In what is considered the active here? Is it the insight?
Oh shit.
The active would be Paul's performance.
Cool, because active beats passive.
No, wait.
It's up to you if you want them to roll again or not, though.
No, passive performance, active insight. I need
Between
to.
you and wins out there.
As I guess it's not so much a lie or a deceit. It's almost a smugness, Ewan. At this point, Roderick's kind of holding himself in higher regard than you.
Wolfric kind of just has a resigned shrug. He's gonna let some like bottom of the barrel mercenary think what he wants.
Words hurt.
If Wolfric doesn't question, then I'll raise to the base challenge there. More from what I heard last night. Does your, I struggle to call it a group, have something against them?
Not particularly. Just we're not so burdened by rules.
And that's a reason to call them, oh, what was it your friend said? Complete failures?
How did you hear that, nosy prick?
People aren't very quiet.
You know what? Fair enough.
It's not exactly an answer.
I maybe heard some things about the Iron Dragons.
Like what?
Not much. I wouldn't trust that it was from Madame Toussaint I heard these things.
Am I meant to know who that is?
Ranwood. It was her, it told me, right?
Mhm.
Well,
It's
right.
rumours that you'll have been heard spilling from her carriage as she's been terrorising locals and driving your business out since no one wants to travel north anymore.
So yeah. Ranwood would know who I was on about, correct?
Yep.
Right. You know, I'm just repeating the things she says, so who am I? I don't know much.
I mean, they don't sound like things worth repeating.
Anyway,
Well, there you go.
what are we hunting? Where is it? And can I get money out of it?
A dragon, it's moving, and probably not.
I guess I'll come along for the sport. You guys will need me. If
I'd
it's
more
okay.
I give a very cautious glance to Wolfric at that.
God, it's too fucking early for this. Ugh. Wolfric does yawn and kind of rub his face. Aye, come along, we could use the extra man,
Awesome.
but you gotta be aware this isn't a normal dragon. Killing a normal dragon is not easy, but this isn't even that. It's a whole different breed of beast.
Killed many a beast. But a dragon would be nice. Maybe I'll get a new nickname with it. Roderick Dragon Slayer.
You're gonna have to understand real quickly that this isn't for respect, this isn't for titles.
Dragon's Bane.
Oh my god.
You know that we're doing this because it's a duty. There's something to be said of glory, but there's more to be said for acting with a purpose.
Nah, I'm in it for the glory or the money.
Wolfric, you can't possibly be thinking of bringing him along.
I mean, you guys seem capable, but I mean, come on, look at me. Just like twirling around my massive
pompous,
hammer.
big-headed brat. Any of us could easily take you.
I don't want to fight.
Well, your language certainly acts like you do.
I'm just trying to help you boys.
As Eidolon more, rather seething at this point, more just gives a sigh, reaches for his skin and just takes a long drink.
So we are drinking. Hope that's not water.
Vinegar, pussy.
I mean, this is just Roger. Just like I have nothing on today. It's not till tomorrow night, so I'm just like, this will be entertaining.
Can the four of you make me perception checks?
Ooh.
Jesus Christ, how am I rolling so low on perception today?
I don't mind.
Only a 19. Jesus Christ.
6. Why am I always rolling so low on perception? It's the eye patch.
Could I only roll a 19? Ah.
So none of you notice anything, even with your 19, Craig. You are obviously sitting around, the campfire is not lit, but you're kind of sitting over the dying embers and taking a drink, a couple of swigs, cracking open some of the spare barrels and kind of just taking the morning as you're talking, waiting on light to finally hit. You don't hear anything, even on the wind, though the breeze seems to be a bit warmer, if only for a moment. Gets your nostrils and kind of turns your stomach again, just for that little moment. Before, for the four of you and even some of the other members of the camp are disturbed, sitting upright, bolting upright, waking up, bashing their head off of branches, logs, anything else that seems to be above them as they've been snoozing, as from the relatively extravagant cart, I would say screaming, but it's more wailing, seems to echo throughout Kinreen and the glade.
Turn to Ranaagash. Should we consider this a problem?
Is this a new occurrence for Madame Toussaint?
No, this is a relatively normal occurrence. Usually it's because someone has been with her. Like she's, seen something in one of her fortunes. And, it's been awful and she's kind of played up the, oh no, doomsday. So, screaming, wailing. But no one's gone into her caravan and no one's come out.
Suppose one of us should have a look.
Eidolon would give a heavy sigh, mainly gesturing towards Wolfric or Ranaagash, and head over to the door.
I follow.
Flap. It's like a tent, it's not a proper door.
It's an old-fashioned caravan. So it's like the big
Door then?
half-circle kind of like tarp tent with the door in it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a door, Craig. You weren't
I
stupid.
guess just approaching that, giving it open, I guess.
The inside, I guess, is split into two. The front is, I guess, what you'd expect from a fortune teller or a seer's table. Lots of crystals, crystal ball, deck of cards that seems to be sprayed across a red cloth, and then a set of very ornate beaded curtains that seem to go into a back room where the silence is quite deafening.
Is there anybody in here?
Not that you can see.
I turn back to Wolfric and Ranaagash and just give a shrug. I there's not much more I can do if I don't see anyone inside.
I mean, you could go in and explore it.
I mean, I could, but this is also just someone's property.
That is also true, yes.
If I'm told that this is a slightly common occurrence and this is just someone's house, then do we really have any reason to be snooping inside?
Well, if you boys aren't going to look, then I will. And I kind of push up past them and look inside the caravan.
Taking those few steps and actually trying to, come in. Pushing past Eidolon, actually entering into the caravan itself, you are able to see somewhat through the gaps in the curtains, more so than he is, as you're kind of taking more front and centre inside of this caravan. I guess in the second half of the caravan that has been set up more to be her home, to be somewhere obviously she lives and kind of operates out of, outside of her own business. There is a older woman, quite a skeletal older woman. She doesn't look, I guess her appearance matches her sanity. Both seem to be in need of some work and some care. However, the woman herself seems to be sat upright in the bed. The noise, the wailing is stopped. She still seems to be breathing, though you notice that her iris is completely white, and so is her pupil.
This wouldn't be normal behaviour in my book, would it?
No, this is definitely strange. She's always been quite strange, hence your band have come to call her the Mad Madame Toussaint. But for this, yeah, this seems a little bit strange. She's usually just known for being really spooky with her crystal ball and pulling cards for people.
Just turn to Ran and be like, this is something different.
Bold of you to assume I'm in the carriage.
just peering round so that you're outside.
Yeah.
Close enough to like know what's going on, but I ain't setting foot in there.
I feel like we should help her.
Alright.
She is not in a good way.
Is this not normal?
Not by my reckoning.
I'd more take a step in, ready a few things in my pack, let Wolfert come in too, as I know he's got a few extra talents in this aspect. I guess go over to the lady.
Object's just like snapping his fingers and clapping a bunch in front of her face to see if she reacts.
She doesn't, at least not until Wolfric and Eidolon walk in, where her head almost snaps around. You can see that if it was perhaps a faster turn, her neck perhaps would have even broken.
That's fun.
As she kind of almost looks past Roderick, not someone she recognises, or perhaps she recognises, and more addresses Eidolon and Wolfric. As in her, I guess, rather old voice, though I'm not going to do that because I have a sore throat. I need more fluid, but we'll get to that. She looks at the two of you and almost smiles. You can see these wrinkles in her face starting to smooth out as she does so.
Please don't smile at me, strange woman.
This is indeed quite strange. I wasn't expecting to be able to see the two of you. These are interesting abilities, indeed.
Don't tell me she's like you, Ran.
Calls back to the edge of carriage.
How do I convey a shrug in audible format?
Shrug.
Shrug.
Or just a
No, don't like that noise.
Listen, woman, are you alright or not? 1 second you're on the floor and now you're upright.
I'll be honest, I don't know. I'm still experimenting. Where is Ranaagash?
I think I can like hear this, right?
Yeah.
Right. Back here.
Well, at least I know you're close by.
It's calling back to Ranaagash also. Is this comforting or not?
Not particularly, given the circumstances.
Listen, woman, if you've got nothing insightful to say, you clearly seem to be in a well enough state. We'll be on our way.
I would probably advise it. I don't have many intentions of staying much longer in this town.
Am I supposed to say anything beyond good for you?
No, but I do find this amusing.
Yeah, and I don't. Come on, Wolfric, we've got nothing more to do here.
Alright, let's get going.
Roderick would follow them out the caravan as well. Knew she was mad.
You know, I haven't agreed with you on much so far, Roderick, but that is at least a fact.
Well, what have we got planned today?
What time is it?
Starting to get to sunrise as you kind of exit the car and hear the, I guess, woman laugh.
With any purpose, or?
No, it's more that kind of, I guess, amusing chuckle as it kind of fades.
Is the tavern open?
Would it be? I would assume so if the light's coming up.
I'm getting to light, the rest stop would be open. Roderick and Ran would both know that fact.
You have intentions, Wolfric?
The most important intention.
Continue.
Breakfast.
Yes, 12 eggs.
Good enough. Ranaagash, when exactly are you wanting to see your parental figure?
Frida?
I'll give it a while.
Alright, Wolfric's suggestion takes precedence. Let's go eat.
Breakfast!
Right.
At least there we can check if everything's alright in Kinrain.
Can I tag along to meet Frida?
No,
And why not?
because you're an unfortunate son, and if she finds out I'm associating you in any way, shape, or form, she will have my guts for garters.
It was like more of a you problem.
He's telling you to stay away from his mother.
He's gone.
He's gone.
I keep moving about because my chair has wheels, which didn't have previously.
So now you
Right,
can
it's like
spend...
move about.
He's
I would have
reveling
used
in
that
it.
as well.
Ah.
But also, my desk has wheels as well, so just like,
Everything can move.
yes, everything's a drum.
Why would both of them need to have wheels? Surely only one of them would need to have wheels.
Yeah, just the chair. Oh, someone came in.
Gasp! It's Paul's person. It's a doggo!
Oh,
It's a dog.
This
Let's
was
go.
this was good. I
my
love-
life just became at least 20 times better today, Paul.
There's my brother coming in and be like, "Oh, food's ready. Do you want us to heat it up for you?"
No.
I'll wait till the break to go get it.
Well, speaking of that, I need more fluid because I have a very dry throat. So with you guys heading to the rest stop, Kinreen's Tavern for breakfast, and before anything else spooky occurs,
Spooky shit.
we will take a break so I can go and get
Right.
more fluid, and you guys can go and get some food and possibly bring more doggo.
Maybe.
I do
I
enjoy
think that's
doggo.
M requesting more dog.
But for folks at
It's
home,
like, Paul, do you want your character to not die? Show me the
bring
fucking
the
dog.
fucking dog.
It's like the whole like if you bring snacks to the DM, they won't
Yeah.
kill you.
Bring dogs.
Bring dogs.
Bring dogs.
Bring dogs and
No
snacks.
pictures.
As yeah, for those at home, you will probably not be privy to doggo. Maybe we'll see.
You unfortunate sons.
But we'll see you all after the break.
Let's go.
As
Breakfast time.
we come back from the break with breakfast. As you
No.
well, not breakfast just yet. You're on your way for breakfast. As Ranaagash, I need a perception check.
Oh boy. I need to retype it because it was my pace was overwritten with doggo.
You still have portents.
Why wouldn't it be?
Please use your portents at some point, Matthew.
It's a perception check.
Yeah, but you
We
also
failed
have a
that.
14, a 17, and a 19.
I want to use them on a perception check, and I need to use it on keeping these idiots alive.
As you notice nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's par for the course, baby. I noticed nothing.
Eidolon.
Lol.
And technically Wolfric. Because your passive perception is 13, yes, Ewan?
Yes.
Yes.
No, 15.
50.
13.
13. Okay.
13.
As yes, you also see this. You could have seen it with a
Apparently
14,
fucking
Ran.
Wow, just really rubbing it in, just like, yo,
Use your
look
portents.
at things.
It's what you have them for.
He's hoarding his portents.
It's like,
Water is a good.
what if I get into an emergency and then I get into one? I'm like, what if I get into a bigger emergency and I need them?
You're literally
It's the guy who plays video games and
Yeah.
hoards potions and stuff.
You're literally that
Exactly
guy
what
who
I'm
just
doing.
hoards every single item for the eventuality that you might need it at some point.
Me. My Pokemon are low on PP, but I might need this ether. You're fighting the champion.
Yeah, but like, what if you come across a legendary later, Ewan, and you need to use it and you're completely out of PP, you know? What about that completely obscure circumstance that's never gonna happen?
That completely obscure circumstance can bite me. I'll use it.
As for
What do we see?
Eidolon and Wolfric, as you guys are making your way to the rest stop, kind of, I guess Roderick and Ranaagash leading to some degree. It's obviously a frequent establishment that Roderick attends, and it's somewhere that Ranaagash knows quite well. You kind of come into Kinreen, come around the corner, take a kind of a right then a left, and start moving up to more this kind of central plaza of the town, I guess, with this kind of big 5-story building, obviously established as the rest stop, this inn. However, you're looking at a very open plaza. And at the end of the open plaza, kind of on the western side of the plaza, I guess, you see a house that seems to be in quite a sense of disarray, with a few people, I guess, kind of nosy neighbour style, gathered round it.
I'm turning to Ranaagash, whether he's noticed or not, I'm pointing towards it. Is that something we should be worried about?
Would I know whose house this is?
It's your house. Well, your mum's house.
Hmm. Yikes. Saying nothing but just like staring and then just like not running but like very intently walking, shall we say.
I'll keep pace beside him.
Ran intently runs. This is just a small jog for Eidolon. It's
This is a walk.
literally the
This
meme
is
of on
walking
your
pace.
left.
Do you come with us, boys?
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, why not?
Roderick, you would know that this is Frida's house as well.
Exactly. I'm trying to keep it chill.
As several of the people who are in attendance of the house, both of the proprietors of the Tulip and Brass are here. So a half-orc named Valley and a human man named Calder. You kind of grew up with them, so to speak. They now own the Tulip and Brass, have done for maybe 3-4 years. They are obviously outside. The stable hand's son, Julian, is also outside, kind of, I guess, more keeping an eye on things. His father's not there, you can't see him. As well as, well, I guess not all of the proprietors of the rest stop, Runa and Hjalmar are both still inside. Hjotar, however, is also standing outside, kind of just waiting. By the time that you and Eidolon get over there, they are, I guess, shocked to see you. Though it is Hjotar that, I guess, grabs you before you get to the front door. He kind of more puts an arm in your chest. Ranaagash, you don't want to go in there.
What happened?
We don't know. Marcus is in there. He's giving your mum a hand. But maybe give it a minute, son.
Fine.
As obviously the rest of the party kind of I guess, joins you, Wolfric and Roderick coming up behind, and you see this, I guess, more Germanic style, kind of the dusted blonde hair, quite buff, maybe late 30s looking gentleman kind of holding Ranaagash back, consoling him to some degree, as a half-orc woman and 2 more human men, I guess, come to his side, making sure he's alright. We don't really know what happened as Julian kind of steps forward and puts a hand on your shoulder. We just kind of saw it. My pa and me, we were out sorting the horses and we saw your mum's door kicked in.
By who?
We don't know, it was already broken.
Assuming you barely need it spelled out for you, Ran.
No.
Kind of looks between, I guess, the 3 of you. Roderick, you get some familiar stares, though more confused to anything to why you're here at this point. More addressing Eidolon and Wolfric, you're friends of Ran's.
Aye.
Could say so. Any reason we shouldn't head in?
It's not really a state for a boy to see his mother in any bad way. Especially Frida.
Wolfric, might you actually be able to do something about this?
I can go in and check on her, if you want.
I think that decision should be left up to Ran, not us.
Ran, do you want me to help?
Yeah.
Alright.
Want some company going in, Wolfric?
Yes. Ran, you don't have to come in if you don't want to.
No, I'm coming.
We head in.
In we go.
Into the breach. As the house itself is quite nice, it's quite well to do, or at least it would be if it wasn't in quite a tip. It seems not so much a struggle, the damage seems to be a lot more methodical. I guess the easiest way to describe it is if someone was walking along dragging a blade against the wall. It's kind of those very precision marks. Technically about 3 of them would be dragging along the wall, 2 of them would be dragging across the floor. As anything that the claws came in contact with, very much claw marks rather than knife marks, seem to just be cut to ribbons. Whether that be furniture, decorations, wallpaper, even some slats from some of the doors leading into what looks like living room, living space, kitchen space, drawing space. There is a second floor to it, though it is more Julian that takes you in, as he takes you kind of round the back of the house to kind of a small, I guess, dining area that kind of branches onto the kitchen that leads out into quite a small garden, where this is in a little bit more of a state of disarray, with things being thrown, things being broken, things being shattered. A smell of burning, though there is no fire, though you can see the remains of a fire. Something probably being left and then overcooked, and kind of just been left to simmer and boil and burn, to the point where the stove pit is very charred and very black. Quite a tall man, broad-shouldered, kind of dark hair that's been pulled back into quite a long ponytail and partially braided, though very hurriedly, is kind of sat on the floor, kind of down on his knees, with a, I guess the only thing that strikes you as being similar to Ranaagash is her shape. She is quite small, she is quite slender, but other than that, if you saw her in the street, you wouldn't see her as Ranaagash's mother. She is very blonde-haired, she is very fair-skinned. She has that kind of softness to her face, similar to Ran, but he has a lot more defined features. She does not, as she is unconscious. And to the best of his abilities, you can very much tell that this is a man that would essentially be the closest thing you have to a medieval vet, in terms of patching up horses rather than people. Along her right-hand side, so from collarbone, arm, and ribcage, you can see essentially slats that have been put into place and then bandaged on her body so that her arm can be realigned and her ribs can be realigned. As she is unconscious, as obviously the 3 of you walk in, I imagine Roderick's somewhere in the background.
Yeah.
Keeping his distance, keeping his respect, but still being there.
Yes.
Whereas obviously you are led in by Julian. Marcus kind of looks not so much at Wolfric and Eidolon, but more so at Ran. Ranaagash, I didn't think you were home.
No. Can't blame you.
I wish I could give you more. I don't know what happened. I've done the best I could for her though, but she's no horse.
Is she conscious?
She is breathing faintly. You reckon that if she has got broken ribs, one might be inhibiting her breathing, but she is, whilst unconscious, is in a stable-ish state.
I'm gonna try giving her 10 points of my lay on hands.
Cool.
Whilst he's doing that, I'll keep an eye on the wounds that he's closing up. Or damage at the very least, not really wounds. Making sure that as he's healing it, nothing in it is infected or the sort.
Give me a perception check, Eidolon. Or a medicine, whatever you're better at. I'm assuming it's perception.
I wonder. I can't roll any decent perception check today. It's still above 10, which is impressive.
But it's also a nat 1, so you have no fucking
I mean, unless
clue.
you're generous and say it doesn't apply to ability checks.
As you don't know. You do notice that the marks themselves are not clean, however they are intentional. They were there to do damage, not to kill.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But you don't actually know if they're infected or not, as Wolfric starts to stitch them up. It's not the most pleasant lay on hands in the world, Ewan. You're still getting used to, I guess, the feeling of healing someone. It's not like Ranaagash where you could feel the wounds start to knit. With this, you can almost feel the bones breaking and cracking back into place as they're starting to stitch and heal themselves back together. But she does seem to, afterwards, be able to breathe better. She seems to be in a more restful state. Her breath isn't as raspy, it's not as laboured. It seems to be, I guess, out with the bandages and splints, you could say that she was more asleep in this man's arms than injured in this man's arms.
That's good.
Wish that were me.
He is Gaston.
Put for her
That's
back.
done, son.
Anything would be helpful. As I said, I tend to horses, not people, and we can't really travel into Mire to get her help there. So, thank you.
It's the least I can do.
I had more gesture for Ranaagash if he wants to come over.
Imagine he just ignores it and just kind of staring, almost like through her, if that makes sense. Like almost giving it the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
There's not much else we can do though. Wolfric has done the best he can. Not much to say.
If you can you give me a hand? I can't really lift her. I want to try and get her somewhere more comfortable.
I'll help out.
As he kind of just shuffles back a little bit, keeping her propped up, but waiting until you obviously lift her. As he kind of leads you past Ran, he puts a hand on Ran's shoulder and just kind of gives him a smile, trying to do his best he can to comfort him, and leads Wolfric upstairs to Frida's bedroom so that he can at least lie her in the bed. Leaving Ranaagash downstairs with Eidolon, Julian, and Roderick probably in the hallway.
Did you say the guy went over to comfort Ranaagash?
Just before he led Wolfric up the stairs, he kind of put a hand on Ran's shoulder and just kind of gave him like a sad but trying to comfort him smile.
I'd go over to Ranaagash, then let Wolfric head upstairs. You okay?
I did this.
What was that?
I did this. I caused this. This is my fault.
You had no way of knowing that this would come out from this. It's not going to make you feel any better, but this was almost definitely intended as a message.
I'm aware.
By the way she looks, she'll live. She'll live fine. He'll have just wanted you to know that he's close enough to do this to the things you care about.
Yeah.
Just take this as a sign to be more careful. I'd more just place a hand on Ren's shoulder, more lead him over to, I'm assuming there's probably a couch or something.
Yeah.
And more just sit him down at it.
Can the two of you give me a perception check? Roderick, you can too, but it would be with disadvantage for yourself.
At long rest, I'm not exhausted anymore.
No, you're not exhausted.
Oh.
You're not exhausted anymore. This is just because you're more at an angle, so you wouldn't be able to see this as much.
My eyes return to me. I put my spectacles on.
He just pushes them up the bridge of his nose.
I do like the
Stupid anime thing of just
That's what I was thinking.
gleaming.
As Roderick, you see I guess a shadow, a figure, perhaps at the end of the garden. You can't really make them out. You just more see the corner of your eye, someone standing almost watching. Eidolon, Ranaagash. Eidolon with your eyes, Ranaagash, perhaps 1,000-yard stare. You're not too sure if you're imagining it or not. You both see someone standing at the end of the garden.
Do they move when we see them?
Not until the two of you see them. They seem to be standing, I guess, quite intentionally underneath one of your mum's trees. And from a leaning position against said tree, once the two of you notice them, pushes themselves off of a tree. Eidolon, you'll be able to see a smirk as they more turn heel and walk.
I'm keeping simple. Action dash, bonus action, key point dash. That's 180 feet in 6 seconds. If I have to jump through a window, I'm jumping through a window.
Smash.
Just every time. It's like in a TV show. Anytime I imagine anytime Eidolon does this, if it were like a TV show, it would cut to like an angle shot of his foot hitting the ground, and then Sweet Dreams would start playing.
No, I'm taking that. That's exactly what happens. Ewan's completely correct.
As for Eidolon rushing out, you do break perhaps a door and a window on the way out.
It's more just like jumping up, lifting up the knees, putting like the two arms in front of him in like a cross position just so that they brunt the impact as he jumps out through it.
As you obviously see him run to the end of the garden and confront this person. Eidolon, you go straight through him.
Yeah, I saw that coming though.
However, he is still physically there and stops.
What did this person look like?
Perhaps a foot and a half taller than you.
It's not really what I asked.
The projection itself seems elvish the closer you get to it. As with red eyes and shaggy brown hair, he smirks at you. You didn't think I'd stick around, did you?
Of course not. You're dumb, but you're not stupid.
I'm smarter than you give me credit for.
I know you're smart. I just know you're denser than you think.
Well, if you'd come here last night, you might have been able to see me.
You can't keep running away.
I'm not.
No. You're just being a coward. You didn't always enjoy bullying or hurting people who couldn't exactly do anything about it.
He could have done something about it. He could have come home.
There was no way for him to know you'd do this. Mainly because there's no way no one goes inside the head of a psychopath.
You see him almost take a breath.
I know you don't care, but you have no reason to be targeting these people.
He made himself involved. I don't care about the other one.
You made him involved by choosing to take your anger out. You want to take your anger out on anything, come and slam my head in, not someone who did nothing.
Is that an invitation?
Of course it is. But I also know you'll be too cowardly to do that, and instead you'll just try target someone else.
He kind of paces. Ranaagash, you can obviously watch this interaction from the garden, though you can't hear anything that's being said. Well, I don't know if it makes you feel any better, but the boy has nothing to do with you. I know everything has to do with you at some point, but this has nothing to do with you.
Excuse me? Nothing has to do with me. I'm only out here looking for you.
You could have just stayed dead. Can't even do that right.
You know, I could say the same thing. You could have just chosen not to kill my wife.
That was your fault.
My fault? For what, not wanting hundreds of innocents to die? Well, that's too good for you, isn't it?
You gave up an opportunity.
No, I gave up a curse. You're the one who took it on.
And look at you now. So
I
proud.
could say the exact same thing. If you're so cocky, if you believe in yourself so much, as he'd more just step forward, take a hand, and just kind of like wipe it through the astral projection, why run away?
You see him almost twitch. The form kind of blinking between the, I guess, elven form and the wolf form, or the more predatory form, because I have other places to be.
Then maybe you should get back to that. Because when I find you, you're not going to have any other place to be.
I look forward to it.
Trust me, only one of us is. As I just walk through his astral projection back to the house.
You were much more agreeable this morning.
Who said that? What? I'm kind of confused.
Gairdra said that. As the astral
me?
projection walks off. Yes.
That's slightly worrying.
As, at least for Ranaagash and Roderick, who are kind of watching Eidolon talk to this projection, talk to this figure for Roderick, the figure just seems to vanish into nothing. And Eidolon comes back into the house.
Through the window.
Through the broken door and window.
Eidolon, do you mind telling me what that was?
Yes, in fact, I do mind. He would more just snap at you. Start just craning his neck over to you for a second before just cracking back into place.
Did that man just vanish?
Yes. Alright. Any more stupid, obvious questions?
Roderick would just take a wee step back. He's obviously hit a nerve.
As he'd just go over to Ranaagash. He was here or used someone here. Do you know anyone in Kinreen who'd be willing to do something like that?
Wouldn't think so, would I? No.
No easily manipulated sorts.
No. Depends if you can't buying the services with manipulation, but that's a different.
Wouldn't put it past him either, though.
This is not the place for that.
We need to be out of here. Soon.
How soon?
As soon as we can make sure your mother's alright.
That's a good soon.
The longer we're here, the more targets he can place. We don't want West Cross happening here. All I can tell you is I might have made sure that his targets are less can be placed on your type.
Are you taking a turn to piss him off?
You made him mad. All I have to do is show up to make him mad. Come on. As even more start walking towards the stairs, Wolfric went up.
Wolfric will be at the top of the stairs. Everything alright down there?
You will have heard Eidolon shouting. Specifically at Roderick.
Why all the Roderick hate?
Stupid
I
questions.
don't know you. As I more just go up.
That dude just
Wolfric.
fucking vanished is a stupid question.
More just direct eye contact. He was here. And what more? He didn't even decide to show up himself outside the house. It was just another projection.
One of these days that slimy toad needs to actually show up in person for something, and when we do it we're gonna beat him until he can't recognise himself.
Eidolon Moore gives a slight smirk. You still open to helping me with that?
Of course, and and now this isn't even a favour. That guy just pisses me off.
Eidolon Moore outstretches his hand, less for the handshake and more like the gripping of the wrists at this point.
Yeah.
Or just clasp it together, firm shake. We need to get Ranaagash's mother best condition possible, and we're leaving.
All
This
right.
place is too much of a target already.
I'll give her another dose of healing, and then we can be on our way.
We have a dragon and a bastard to kill.
Right. If you'll
Probably
excuse
head
me,
into the room she's in. We'll be coming with you at this point because I want to make sure Ranaagash is okay.
Wolfric will walk in, administer another 10 points of lay on hands.
It's just advanced religious CPR.
Essentially, yes.
Claire.
She's doing
No,
a
I'm just doing the attention to detail because this is what the doctors do.
Yeah.
as it seems to do some benefits to her. It helps again to heal some of the wounds, stitch them up, as well as break some of the bones back into place. Enough that they can start healing themselves, and enough to the point where she reaches a more semi-conscious state. As she
Probably seeing that I'd usher Ranaagash a bit closer into the room. I know his eyes aren't the best.
She kind of sits up, though quite painfully. As she does so, both Julian and Marcus attempt to stop her from sitting up, though when they see that that's not really going to work, they try and make her as comfortable as they can as she sits up in a very kind of trepid, lucid state. She doesn't really see anyone else. Sees Ranaagash? Too many orc names! It's just going to get worse. Sees Ranaagash, looks relatively confused, kind of blinks, clears her vision slightly. I thought you were your dad at first.
Always did have that family resemblance.
Yes, but you're about 300 pounds lighter. And she more turns to, I guess, the two strangers in her room. And who the hell are you?
Ma'am, I'm Wolfric Reinbrand. I'm a friend of your son's.
Stares at Eidolon.
More just keeping his hand perched on the windowsill, because that's how he always perches himself in a room at this point. Turns around. He doesn't usually do it with people, but Moore takes a deep bow in her direction. Eidolon de Dallas, and I can offer my sincerest apologies for this incident.
You say it like it was your fault.
Because it is, and hence I deliver my apologies.
It's not the time, considering I'm not in the best state nor condition at the moment. But, Ranaagash, why are you home?
Passing through up north. You'd be mad at me if I didn't show up.
Well, you're right there. Better circumstances, perhaps. She kind of looks, I guess, around the room. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to speak to my son.
Another deep bow before stepping out of the room. Definitely not our place.
As you're left alone with your mother. She is in a better state than she was when you first walked in, though even with Wulfric's healing, it seems that there is a lot still to be done. Probably a lot of the bones, rather than being clean breaks, were fractured breaks, so they take a little bit more time to heal, even with magic. As she more kind of gestures, shuffles over as much as she can without injuring herself, though she does injure herself in the process. Your mother's a very independent woman and very stubborn, so yeah, occasionally forgets that she has a broken right hand side, as she kind of moves across the beds for you to sit down.
I'll do so.
If you're travelling north, does that mean you found your answers?
Some of them.
It's not really the answer I want, Ran.
Believe me, it's not the answer I want either.
How far north are you going?
Up into the Gildenfeld, where Wulfric's from.
So, how far into the Gildenfeld? The north roads have been abandoned now for nearly a month.
What's the place called?
Place
We're going
names!
We're going to Thornsguard, then Holzall.
There we go. I remembered, I think I got Thornsguard. I believe as far as Holtzall.
That's quite the journey.
Yeah,
If you stick to the main roads, you should be alright.
it happened.
What, to me?
The North Roads.
Well, at least one of them I know. Some attacks have been happening quite close to the northern borders of the wood. Your father's fine, before you ask. So is Bartak. He's got his hands full, so he's not been allowed to go on hunting parties. The northern portion of the forest has been cordoned off, and as far as I'm aware, most of the towns that sit on that road are now ghost towns. It means they stay in the camps and drink all day, but at least it means the unfortunate sons aren't ferrying anyone where they shouldn't be.
Is this where you drop in that one of them's downstairs?
You think I'm going to mention that? Good to hear.
It certainly makes things easier. If I'm honest, I was hoping you'd be home under better circumstances.
So was I.
How have your visions been?
Not great.
How have they been not great?
Let's see. Interesting character from Eidolon's past is still here and causing problems.
Ranaagash, if I had the energy and the ability, I'd smack you upside the head.
Fair.
You can be cryptic and vague with everyone else, even your father. Don't be cryptic and vague with me.
No, but his old best friend has a vendetta. I'm involved in. Well, he's. At least when I see the present, he's aware of it, and at least able to fight back a bit and then gesture to one of the, residual blood stains still on me. trying to stop him as best we can, but he doesn't like showing up in person. Well, perhaps except to do. I just sort of like, glance down at her side and then back up at her.
She will smack you upside the head and then exclaim in pain, cursing under her breath. You left Meyer not to get involved with anything else.
I didn't really have a choice.
You never seem to have a choice.
I know.
Sometimes I wish your father just took the opportunity and moved here with me and put all that behind you. Perhaps then you could have been more... You could have had a more normal upbringing.
Like smirk and kind of, who would I be if I was normal?
Perhaps happier. Perhaps having a family of your own.
The boat warned me about this.
Not the time, but, time is getting there.
I know.
I just want to see you happy, Ran.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you getting involved in any more... anything.
I'll try.
You've been trying for so many years now. You never try to get into trouble. Everyone else around you seems to get you into trouble. And then you just... It's always for someone else. It's never for yourself. Sometimes I wouldn't mind if you were a little bit more selfish. I have something for you. It was supposed to be a welcome home present. Now it will probably be a goodbye present. I would get it myself, but that seems like a foolish idea. Though, if you say another stupid thing, I will still smack you beside the head again.
You really shouldn't. It's bad for your arm.
Yes, well,
And as I say that, I will take a step backwards so that she can.
just shuffle slightly further out of her reach. Well, with an attitude like that, maybe you shouldn't get the gift. Maybe I should just give it to your father and see what he does with it. Probably break it, but... It's in my drawer. It's the top one.
Go over and open it and see what I found.
There is a small black box in it. It looks like that the velvet in it is completely almost worn out to the point where you can see the wood underneath. It is the only other thing in this drawer, other than perhaps a few paintings of a younger you and some memorabilia from your father, some Orcish letters that... The ones that I guess you can see in terms of the letters are quite nice love letters, but then you can quite clearly see the point where their relationship perhaps got a little bit more serious and they stopped becoming quite so sappy and started getting a little bit more Orcish.
I know exactly what that means, and I wish I didn't.
Though she's definitely not referring to the letters nor the pictures, so at least he can have that safety in mind.
I'll take it out and bring it over to her.
She'll kind of take it from you, set it on her knee as she's kind of sitting up a wee bit better, kind of opens the box and takes out quite an old looking, to the point where the silver for the chain and the silver for the amulet itself has completely tarnished. It almost looks like black metal at this point. This thing looks very, very old, with an inset crystal that you have never seen before. It is completely transparent and clear, though when you look through it, the reflection you see through it doesn't seem to be, I guess, what you'd expect from a pane of glass. It's not the reflection, it's not what's on the other side. When you look through it, when you see it, you almost see in every fracture of the crystal a different possible past, present and future for someone somewhere living. Though it's quite hard for you to actually be able to see all of them at once, as the gemstone itself seems to be fractured into almost the thousands, as you just see fragments of almost like a broken static TV. As she kind of smiles and takes it out with her better hand and sets it over the box. This is something that's been passed down from my mother to me and from my grandmother to her. It usually goes from mother to daughter. I never had a daughter. I had you. And I wouldn't change you for the world, but you are the first son that has ever had the abilities you have. Usually it runs in the female line, and so this is passed, and I wanted to give it to you when you came home. I felt after your journey, your decision to leave Mire and find your answers and find a way to put an end to what you can see to help save them, I thought maybe it was time that I realised you weren't my wee boy anymore. So I thought maybe you would be ready and it could be passed to you, and if you don't let me have grandchildren, then whoever you see fit.
Thank you.
Be careful with it. It has its benefits, but it also has its drawbacks. It lets you see more clearly, but sometimes it can also cloud your sight. It has done with mine on occasion. And I want you to promise me something. And it can't be like those promises you made when you were a child, and then you and Bartak still ran off and did them anyway. This has to be a true promise.
Yes.
Those people you're traveling with, don't let them use you. That's not a Ran. And I will smack you across the side of the head if you say it again. It's a I promise.
I promise.
You better mean it. I should probably rest before Marcus decides that I need some kind of injection like one of his horses. I'll be out of bed by the morrow.
Are you sure about that?
I have too much to do. And the house is a mess, so that needs fixed.
Speaking of which, how much does it cost to fix a window?
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Who did?
I thought he saw our man in the garden and rushed to pursue, but again, he's not one for meeting in the flesh.
Then he can stay and fix my window.
That's fair. Don't think he has any gold on him at the moment anyway.
Well, if he doesn't do it right, then your trip north can just wait until he does fix it.
Oh, that's Mason's tools.
Mom, I want to go find a dragon.
Mom, let me fight the dragon!
Mom, it's my turn on the holy axe.
As, I guess, finishing your conversation with your mother, Ranaagash, I get to jump out of RP and into mechanics. As I get to describe to you what your item does, what your heirloom does. So this is a kind of once per long rest thing. It can be at any point during a long rest, so it doesn't have to be at the start of a day. You can add or subtract your intelligence modifier from one of your portent rolls. The catch to it is you then have to add or subtract your intelligence modifier from another roll. So for example, your intelligence is what, +4? So if you added that to, for example, your 19 today to make it a 23, you would then have to subtract the 4 from another one of your portent rolls.
It has to be balanced, is what you're saying.
It has to be balanced, as all things should be.
Well, if you try minus the 4 from like a 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, what
it's,
how does the overflow work?
So there is no
Back on
no maximum, because obviously there's not really a maximum roll in D&D. However, the minimum has to be 1.
That's fair.
We don't stack overflow into like +1000.
No. Your highest would essentially be, obviously your nat 20s are still considered a nat 20, so your highest would essentially be 19 plus whatever your intelligence modifier is. So I think your highest could probably be, what, 24? Without being a nat 20, if you had +5 intelligence.
Yeah.
But you then have to, if you're adding, you then have to subtract it from another one of your portent rolls. So for example, today you have pretty good portent rolls. You have a 14, a 17 and a 19. If you were to add the +4 to one of those to make it better, you'd have to drop another one by 4.
Yeah, so like if I bump the 19 up to 23, I would have to drag the 14 down to like a 10 or whatever.
Yeah, or like the 17 down to a 13. Listen,
it could leave you with some really good portents where you up
Yeah.
it to a 19, but also you lower a 5
Yeah.
down to a net 1.
Because I've had a lot of middle of the road rolls, so I can just
you kind of can
Do your
change
limit.
them around a little bit. It allows you to have some degree over changing your portents, which can obviously be at the beginning of a day or beginning of a long rest when you roll them, or if you're not feeling the numbers later on in the day, you can then change them around. But obviously, you need to then change them around before you then use the numbers and before someone rolls, so that I know what's going on. As it seems to be an item that is passed, usually from, as your mum said, mother to daughter, but she never had a daughter, she had you. The first son that apparently is prophetic. So, you have that going for you
Also,
too.
she really wants you to have kids.
Yeah.
no shit. Is all I'll say.
I mean, it would be nice to have some grandkids.
It seems to swing more the other way, though, if I have to be honest.
How much did my mother pay you to say these things to me?
What?
No. Just kidding.
Hide your bank account.
Yeah, we just won't talk about that.
No, I'm kidding. She would just say it to my face. She's not scared.
Em's just getting fucking PayPal'd
Yeah,
by
but
Matthew's mum.
coercion is always good.
It's just continuous messages, which is just kids win, kids win, kids win.
Kids win.
Subliminal messaging.
If I say it
Think
That's
you
what
enough.
my mum-
shagged yet, you fucking virgin?
That's what my mum was like last year.
I hope she doesn't see this video.
She might.
This is the one time she is like, oh, I'll maybe see what Matthew actually does in his spare time, and this is the episode she clicks on.
You know what? I'm not playing a big enough role in Matthew's life, and I feel like I should be a better mother and get into his things. I watched that latest episode of that D&D podcast. He's always.
I no longer want to be part of his life.
Either that or she's gonna take notes from what you've did and just, you know what? This is an opportunity.
We'll see if it works. We'll try.
Starts it in real life instead.
Yeah.
Jumping back to D&D, again, tangent number 3, I think. You kind of, I guess, just finish your conversation with your mother as she kind of, I guess, attempts to lie down quite slowly to obviously rest. As what would Ran do afterwards?
Suppose he'd go back downstairs and try and find the rest of the gang.
I imagine they're still kind of sitting. Julian and Marcus will still be there. Marcus is kind of sitting as well. Julian's more pacing. Roderick, I imagine, is more leaning against a wall. Eidolon and Wolfric are also there, obviously. As Ranaagash comes in, probably looking a little bit paler than normal.
Right. Is she doing alright?
She's fine. She's resting.
That's good. Should we breakfast and skedaddle?
Nothing more to it. We need to be out of here as soon as possible.
Soon may have to be adjusted.
Why?
Turn to Eidolon and be, how long does it take you to fix a window?
Probably had to fix a window in the past. How long does it roughly take?
If you've got the glass and supplies for it, maybe 3-4 hours, maybe a little bit longer.
If you've got the supplies and right tools, give me 2 hours.
Alright, I'm sure we can
Well, no, I've got the tools. If you've got glass, give me 2 hours.
take a look in the general store. I'm sure they can have something.
Can't believe that our side quest right now is to fix a window.
Does Kenreen have a B&Q by chance?
Being-
The closest thing you'd have to B&Q here is the tulip and brass. And that's if
Yeah.
they've got the glass on hand. As
Mhm.
they're essentially Kenreen's bits and bobs shop. And whether or not they have it will be a bit random.
So who's actually heading out to pick that up? I don't have any money.
Maybe you should have thought about that before you keep breaking people's fucking windows.
No! The door isn't fast enough!
Why are you just gonna leave a conveniently Eidolon-shaped hole, in the side of a house?
Please don't do that to my mother's house. She's been through enough.
I'd like to imagine that whenever Eidolon does his dash, key point dash, it's like the fucking Scooby-Doo where there's a smog outline of where he used to be, and it's like Eidolon, and he just like dissipates.
If possible, I'll send Wolfric, Roderick, and Ranaagash out, and I'll stay in the house and just set to work. Because of course, I can't fix the glass that's been shattered. I'll essentially have to put in a new pane.
Yep.
So it's more getting to work using my mason's tools, which I do have. Removing the rest of the glass, disposing of it safely enough, and getting ready for a new pane to be put in.
Let's go buy some glass, and then I can have some goddamn breakfast.
Whilst you're out buying the glass, make sure to pick up a meal deal.
Fucking tulip and brass meal deal.
I mean, technically,
This is £3.50. I can get it for £3 back in the Citadel.
Technically, they could have that because they're also the local general store that equips travelers for journeys, so they would have dried food and shit.
Fucking meal deal. It's not even a Tesco meal deal. This is a fucking co-op meal deal.
Oh, get a bag of fridge raiders. You know, little chicken bite things.
They're pretty good.
You know, Boots does meal deals.
I'm aware of this.
It's weird.
I got one whilst you were picking up plasters.
Yeah. As for Wolfric, Ranaagash, and Roderick,
Unless Roderick chooses to stay.
Roderick could stay if he wants. Where's he going?
I think I'd just go with the party.
Well, the party's splitting.
Oh, well.
Well,
I guess I'm
Eidolon's cleaning a window.
Tulip and brass, let's go there.
He'll pick up some flowers for Frida.
Oh, yeah. It's a great idea, actually.
Oh no.
As the three of you exit, there's still obviously a small crowd outside. For Ranaagash and Roderick, you can see the two proprietors of the Tulip and Brass kind of, I guess, more standing, waiting to make sure everything's okay. A half-orc named Valley and her partner, a human called Calder, kind of just standing, obviously seeing Ranaagash emerging, more focusing their attention on him. Valley kind of comes up. Is your mum alright?
You're right, she's resting.
For how long?
Knowing her not long enough.
Yeah. Well, Marcus is still there. He should make sure she at least gets some rest before she's up in the next hour. I'm sorry, Rana. Wish we could be more help.
It's funny you say that because you can in fact be my help. We're looking for some glass for a window.
She kind of looks back at Calder. We'll probably have to blow some. Do you know the size of the window?
Would I?
Yay, big.
If you had Eidolon, you could go like 2 inches taller than him.
You've got a Wolfric.
I don't know, what's the size comparison between Wolfric and Eidolon?
Wolfric, how tall are you?
I forget if I made him like 5'11" or 6 foot, but he's like in the 6 foot range. He's like a decently big burly guy. So like, I think the thing is, I imagine Eidolon and Wolfric are about the same height, but the notable thing is Wolfric's a lot broader.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because Eidolon would be that little bit taller because he's 6'1" to 6'2".
Yeah.
But like, he's definitely like, there's less
him.
width to it. Whilst you have a lot more, just that tiny bit less off the top.
Yeah.
It's like a Hemsworth versus an Evans.
Yeah. I guess in terms of proportions then, the window would probably be about Wolfric's width, but maybe 5 inches taller than him.
Can I reach up to like gesture above Wolfric's head to be like this much more?
Wolfric will kind of point to where the axe handle stops.
That's probably a good estimate.
And then it, like does like he's like, and then points to the ground. So yeah, a couple inches taller than me, about as wide as me. So I can stand, and he kind of goes like that. I can stand still.
She kind of laughs. I think we can do that. We should have the spares and could probably blow it for this afternoon.
How much would I owe you?
You don't owe us anything, Ran. It's for your mum.
Thank you.
She'll likely
Frida
come
also
in...
wanted she wanted a meal deal too.
Yeah.
She's a bit weak, you know. She wants some food.
she'll likely come and pay us anyway, even if we say no. So we're not taking a
She
double
like that.
payment. Yes, well, if she hadn't been unconscious, I'm surprised she would have even let Marcus help her. Calder and I'll get to work.
Thank you.
And she kind of like more comes in for a sympathetic hug as she kind of walks off with, well, her partner. As they head back to not too far from your mum's house, it's literally like a wee shop, literally around the corner. Buildings almost stuck to one another as they head in to this very ramshackled 3-story building that, for yourself and Roderick, it's essentially a house of many things. Each floor is dedicated to something different, and there's not very much that the Tulip and Brass doesn't sell or doesn't work on. Valley and Calder are very much skilled in every trade, because they kind of need to be. As the glass will at least take till the afternoon to be finished.
Well, we can go get that breakfast that Wolfrick's always on about while we wait. Unless you've got other stuff to do.
We'd better fetch Eidolon. He can't do much without the glass.
I don't know if anybody approaches me whilst I'm downstairs in Ranaagash's house.
Not particularly. The kind of, I guess, older gentleman heads upstairs, obviously to check on Ran's mum. The younger gentleman, I guess, kind of watches you from a distance.
That's fine. He's alright to be suspicious. I'm a random person who's walked into this woman's house.
He's not, I guess, suspicious of you, he's more just cautious of you.
Yeah,
Curious
doesn't
at the
want to
same
wake me
time.
downstairs.
As you kind of finish, I guess, cleaning up the window frame, take off some of the wood and remove some of the stone in order to put a new pane in, when the boys return, but without glass.
Take it, no luck.
No,
Like,
they're...
it's got to be blown.
Yeah.
Alright, glass blowing, that's maybe 3-4 hours.
Yeah, they said
Early
they'd be done.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Might as well stay another night here in that case. It'll be evening before I'm done, no point heading out then. What a reason to stay behind.
Yeah.
I would go up and apologize, but she doesn't exactly seem like the type of woman who would appreciate that.
You get it done. You fixed the window, and that's a good enough apology for her.
Oh, nothing more we can do. What are we doing now? I can't do anything without the pain.
A little thing called breakfast.
Is it breakfast time, Wolfric?
Breakfast time.
He's starving.
Pizza time. I'd leave my tools by the window just to make sure that the young man who was watching over me, make sure he knows that I'm coming back. As I'd head out with Ran and Wolfric.
I'm coming along too.
Finally, time for a meal.
Starving. As
It's more I didn't know if Roderick actually came in the building or not.
I'm just kind of hanging around.
he's lingering.
Yeah. It's kind of like I'm just bored, you know?
He's waiting
He
until
doesn't
the
have
next,
much to do.
He's waiting until the next job is ready and you guys are interesting.
Yeah. It's like I'm following an NPC around in a video game. I'm just kind of like, let's see how far their animation goes. know?
Let's see how far I can push them before I break the animations.
Yeah.
As you guys head to the rest stop. A relatively large building, one of the biggest buildings in town outside of this building that has a tower on it just on the opposite side, for some breakfast. The place itself is quite bustling, smells quite strongly of alcohol, and seems to be a combination of both a tavern itself and a butcher's. A lot of the dried meats and stuff that they sell for food are hanging on racks behind the bar, most likely being smoked, as you can smell by a lot of the scents of alcohol.
Like order full Kinreen, you know? It's like a full English but an Ellerin.
As when you head in, you see the kind of blonde-haired gentleman talking to a slightly taller blonde-haired gentleman, as well as quite a, I guess, broad-shouldered woman behind the bar. You can kind of see their expressions aren't the best in the world as they are talking in more hushed tones, and the closer you get, the, I guess, more you can hear where they are talking, obviously, about the morning incident and obviously finding Rand's mother, where more upon approach, the woman a woman that both Roderick and Ranaagash would know as Runa Wolf. She runs this establishment primarily. She kind of comes over and smiles quite weakly. The author just told me about your mother, Ran. Is she alright?
You'll be fine.
I'd be surprised if she wasn't. There's not much that can hurt her, but I'm sorry, she's okay and that's the main thing. I just don't really know what else to say.
Fine, you don't have to say anything else.
Do you know if your dad will be coming back into town?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Word's probably not gotten to him yet. Do you boys need breakfast?
Yes, please, yes. That'd be great.
They certainly can. I know of the gold, though. I'd more just say just put my hands up.
For Frida's boy, you eat for free.
Give a shrug. I'll take that then.
As she kind of turns around, shouts over to the two gents behind the bar. Hjalmar, Hotter, let's go. We've got some work to do.
Wolfrick's finally getting the breakfast he asked for.
Is it the breakfast he deserves, though?
I desire breakfast.
I desire breakfast.
Whether he deserves it or not, he does not care. It is breakfast.
For the four of you sitting down, pints are poured and brought across, as well as meat, bread, cheese, a broth of some kind that looks like a soup, but is a bit more thick, with also meat and veg inside of it.
I've been trained by the Irish to hate soup.
Based, I fucking love soup.
Soup is an English capitalist tool. You are a pawn.
Fuck off. I will enjoy soup if I enjoy soup.
You're gonna tell us it's too wet as well, Craig?
As the four of you sit down for breakfast, a relatively hearty breakfast.
I take double portions of everything.
Of course he does.
I just want breakfast.
You and you're getting breakfast.
Give me my
I
bread.
steal a sausage.
Go.
I steal a sausage off Wolfrick's plate.
I will.
Give me a sleight of hand. Wolfric, give me perception.
Will I see this happening, I
Yes.
wonder?
Most likely.
Well, no, I see it happening.
Not great. But let's go.
Wolfric doesn't see it happening, though.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Getting free breakfast and you have the audacity to do this?
And the
Really?
audacity to steal a sausage off my fucking plate. Sick to the bastard death of you.
I mean, you can have my tomato if that makes you feel better.
You would be that person. You would be that person, wouldn't you?
The trades the tomato.
I'm fine with you potentially murdering an innocent person, but I draw the line at you stealing my breakfast sausage.
I hope all your baths are slightly too cold.
Oh.
Oh.
Like, not freezing, but not the temperature you want them to be.
Slightly too cold.
It's like that chance verse that's just like, I hope you're always stuck in traffic. I hope you work on Fridays and you don't get up on Fridays.
I love curses that are just like not like inherently evil,
They're
but like
just mildly
minorly inconveniencing. They're the best.
I'm gonna say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow.
Here's a more potent one. I hope that you accidentally put all of your t-shirts on backwards every single day, so even if people don't notice, you still have to go through the effort of turning your shirt around.
Your clocks always end up 5 minutes fast, no matter how many times you change them.
As
Then you always think they're late.
As Eidolon, you're the only one that notices that Roderick manages to pilfer a sausage from Wolfric.
He doesn't eat it immediately. I have the temptation of stealing it from him.
Playing past the fucking parcel with a
Your
single
sausage.
fucking sausage.
No, but I imagine he'll eat it quite quickly.
Yeah,
Probably
to
doesn't
hide
want
the
it
fact that
stolen
he
back.
stole the sausage.
Just keeps it on his plate to parade it to Wolfric.
Are they good? Like, of the ones that I got to eat, were they good quality sausage?
Yes. It appears that obviously you're used to perhaps pork or cattle beef. This is wild meats. So ideally, or most likely, meats that have been hunted in the woods. So things like rabbit, venison.
Fine selection of meat then.
Back to Wolfric eating his breakfast, not noticing that a sausage got stolen.
Wolfric enjoys his breakfast.
Though feels one sausage is conspicuously missing.
He's just like, you know what? He's like almost full, but like one more sausage would do.
One part of me feels so empty.
As do the, I guess, four of you have any conversation from that morning? You had quite an eventful morning, from the encounter with Madame Toussaint, and then obviously with Ranaagash's mum.
Yeah, I'd probably turn to Ranaagash or Roderick, honestly, at this point and just ask. So, anything specific to deal with the crazy woman in her caravan?
Let me go.
Inconspicuously out of place.
Don't know, she's just always prattling on. She's always got weird prophecies and rumours. It's wise not to listen to all of it.
Any reason why not?
It's all very doom and gloom with her, you know. Very depressing.
Idlemore just goes shrug. The world seems depressing enough already. I feel it could either need more or need less of it.
What I need more is this breakfast. This is bloody delicious. You gonna eat that? And point around and like whatever scrap is left on his plate.
How much food do you need?
Maybe just that egg you've got sitting in the corner.
Surely you do not need that egg.
I mean, if Rand's not gonna have it.
No, I'm having it.
You're having it? Okay.
He's full, but he's now going to have it just out of spite.
Yeah.
Could you
I'm like-
portent him when he eats the egg to like give him like a nat one? On just like regular eating.
Egg
Make
on
him
your
choke
face.
on it, or
Yes.
It fucking explodes.
It hatches very like post-mortem.
He develops a spontaneous allergy to egg.
Yo. Could you do that with Bestow Curse?
I would. It's the best thing.
No, apart from that, I don't have much to say. Eidolon's still tired with the fact that he was woken up when it was still fucking dark outside.
Big bit of shite.
Would Ranaagash have anything to say about the mad woman in the carriage?
no? Well, maybe, but he's had a rough morning.
This place is getting a decent Yelp review.
Hey, at the very least, actually no, I could actually say that in character. More like putting down some food to putting down a drink. Well, at the very least, this place hasn't been as off as things back. Enon, Hellview, Citadel, Summerhost. You know, actually no, this is the most normal place we've been so far.
Don't tempt fate.
At this point, there's no reason not to.
One more day with you lads and then I'm off.
Have fun.
I hope so too. Don't particularly know what I'm doing, just know that it pays well.
Well, I hope you get enough gold that you can go someplace incredibly far away from here.
Always wanted somewhere warm and sunny.
Of course you do.
I have this idea for a cocktail that I want to drink all the time called Pina Colada.
You know, there's this lovely island off the coast of Halden and Summerhost. You might want to try there.
Do tell.
It's in the perfect climate that you're describing. I think it's called Lover's Landing.
This is all hypothetical. If the job works.
Maybe keep it in your books if your job goes well. I'm sure you can have a great time there. Yeah, I hear there's not many inhabitants there either, Roderick.
I do like my peace and quiet.
Oh, you'd certainly get it.
Oh. You sure you're gonna eat that, Ran?
I'm sure.
Oh, fair enough. How's your mother, by the way?
Fine.
Did you by any chance bring up my name?
Why on earth would I do that?
No reason.
That sounds suspicious. That sounds like there is a fucking reason and you're just not saying it.
I've seen her cut about Kinreen, you know.
Insight check. I refuse to believe.
Lots of insight checks tonight.
I'm gonna insight. My insight
You
is
throw my hat in the ring too, why not? Why not?
Paul, give me a deception. This is purely
I'm
based
okay,
off
just
of a
Matthew got
message
nothing.
you sent me today when I was like, I sent you a message in your response to said message.
Matthew got a 20, which is all what we need.
Oh, Rand, you're the only one that realizes Wulfric and Eidolon. It's probably a admiration from afar. Cutting about town, he's probably been eyeing up Rand's mum.
There's a cheeky wee bit of stalking.
He's flirted with your mum.
Oh, that's so much better. It's so much less extreme than I thought it'd be.
He's been trying it with your mum.
Vicious mockery?
You have been declared cringe.
No. Off-topic question. What are your rates for mercenary work?
My rates. How much you got?
No. What are your rates?
How much you got?
Fine, then I'll cut to the question. How much do I need to pay you for your fuck off?
Do we kill him now? Is this when we kill him?
Whoa. Where's all this animosity coming from?
I know what you've been doing with my mum. I can tell from that tone of voice.
I haven't done anything to you, sweet Frida.
Sweet? You sure about that? I'll have your guts for garters in a minute if you don't shut up.
Oh, fuck. I like this, Matthew.
He doesn't like you.
I feel that was mostly directed at Roderick, but like a little bit of that statement was directed towards Paul.
What? Your mother's a nice woman, and I want to make sure she's okay.
She's also a taken woman.
I completely understand. What are you trying to imply? I have
There's
nothing.
only so far I can do this with my head before I snap my own neck.
I have nothing but the utmost respect for your mother.
Oh hey, now all of us hate Roderick.
I mean, I hated him before, and I just have another reason, another string to that bow.
Do we kill him now, Matthew?
Another arrow.
Not
in that
within
quiver.
city limits, I don't think.
Ah, I like the stipulation.
It's foolish of you to write in a mother.
Matthew, you can cast Vicious Mockery and no one would know it was you.
Paul, I'm fucking begging you. I'm fucking begging you to not be horny about someone's mum for
No.
5 fucking seconds.
No. Roderick, as a mercenary, he's traveling a lot. He's got a big old axe. He's got money.
See,
So,
like,
this sort of thing just kind of comes, but not with Frida though. She's the nice one. The one,
see, like, both me and Ewan both have alive mothers, but it's only going to be Matthew's mother.
It's always Matthews.
That's all it's gonna be.
It's just funny when it's Matthews.
It's because if he flirts with Wulfric's mother, Wulfric has 6 other siblings who will also kick Roderick's ass.
Yeah.
Because they're all from the Gildenfeld, which basically means they're from the world's equivalent of Glasgow. They will kick the shit out of him.
No, with
I wouldn't need 6 siblings to kick his ass, but that's just me.
No. With Frida, it's like on occasion, Roderick is purposely dressed himself really nicely and maybe had a road. Just Frida, how weird to bump into you. He's really trying to charm her.
And let me guess, she turns you down every single time.
But she does. But just
Does
makes me-
Roderick know what the word married means?
I mean, her husband doesn't
He
live with him.
lost that in the amnesia.
Yeah.
Husband doesn't live with Frida.
Apparently lost a lot of fucking things with the amnesia.
How uncomfortable does Ranaagash look, Matthew?
Alright.
It's just Roderick means nothing, hopes for nothing but the best for your mother.
Well, it's Rand's call, Matthew. I don't think me and Wulfric will blame you for any action you take here.
I'm just gonna look Roderick dead in the eyes. I just finished the last of my egg.
Oh,
Just really rub that shit in.
Hit it where it hurts.
Oh, not the egg.
He's only had 11 today. That was his 12.
That was my 12. I need 12 eggs. I was just asking. I didn't mean anything by it. She's a nice woman and I care about her.
Do you
What's
know
up?
her?
In a way.
I really don't like that implication.
What the fuck does that mean?
It's Roderick's turn to have secrets, okay?
Yeah, not about someone's mum.
Can a man just have a wee bit of a crush, okay?
Not on a taken person!
That's forbidden fruit tastes the sweetest, you know?
Shut the fuck up. You'd shag your own sister for a slice of cheese.
I can't get offended at that because I don't know if I have a sister.
And you don't
He's
know
just
if you
saying
even
he
like
would. He
cheese.
just said he would.
I never said that.
You just the implication there. There's the implication.
I can't like get offended. I don't have a sister. As far as I'm aware. You guys wait, no, out of character. You're making it weird, guys.
I know, it's funny. It's funny. And also that was a reference. I was making a reference.
For what?
Have you not seen Misfits?
Not in forever.
No, do you not remember? It's Robert Sheehan's character. It's like you'd shag your own sister for a slice of cheese. And you don't even like cheese.
Oh yeah, that does sound familiar.
See? I made a
He's not making it
reference.
weird.
I made a reference, which was a joke.
You're just too nerdy for us. It's just right over my head.
Misfits isn't even nerdy. It's a popular British television show. And
I've watched it. I haven't watched.
I know it'd be, but calling Misfits nerdy is like if I said briefcase wanker, you called it a nerdy reference.
I'm kidding. Yeah. Guess Roderick, sensing the animosity at the table, would down his pint and then just like stay quiet.
Right. We just gotta wait for that glass to be finished, so that Eidolon can
Oh,
fix
that
down
glass!
the-
Is that glass done yet?
That glass done yet.
Roderick's feeling real awkward now.
Ranch just devil stares this man. Stay away from my mother.
First he brags about the least impressive boxing record I've ever heard, and then he wants to fuck someone else's mother.
I don't. I want to treat her right.
I want to punch him. Ryan, can I punch him?
I can be the man she deserves.
Ryan, can I punch him? Can I have permission?
Do you know what this sound? This has. This isn't what you're saying. But this has the energy of. I sleep in a race car bed. Where does she sleep? She sleeps in a big bed with her husband.
Ryan, can I please punch him?
No, I have a better idea.
Okay.
What is the better idea?
You know who would really not like to find out someone was flirting with his wife?
Oh!
Are you gonna
Your
cast
dad.
sending on your fucking dad?
Do it. Do it. He deserves it.
Save that. You know, if the need arises.
If he continues saying anything about it, which I don't think he will, I will punch him. I don't think he will say anything more on it.
I'm done now.
Okay. You saw as you were getting to the end there, Eidolon's left hand was placed on the table rather than on his cutlery.
Start carving into the table. F and R forever. I'm kidding.
Paul, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Is it dark down there in that hole you keep digging?
I don't know how I got down this far.
It
It's
just seems to be
impressive.
it's a common occurrence,
quite-
really.
Is it starting to
He's
get
so-
warm down there? I think you're gonna hit the core at some point.
He's so down bad he actually fell down a fucking hole.
I'm down tremendous.
As
The last time.
for the four of you, you obviously kind of, I guess, spend the afternoon
Afternoon.
having breakfast, having lunch. You go and pick up the glass
I steal
paint.
another sausage.
God, I'm so ready to punch him. When can I punch him, please?
As you pick up the glass, Roderick, you leave the party.
Oh,
Well, you got to go meet your own band, so you
of
disappear.
course.
Obviously, the boys kind of knew that was going to happen anyway. You already said you were just staying with them for today, and given the awkwardness of the tavern, being a little early can't really hurt, especially
The
after.
second Roderick leaves, there's just an audible sigh of relief. Don't know if that's shared by Wolfric and Ranaagash. Turn to Wolfric. He's not coming.
I don't even know if he is at this point.
If there is a god, they should not let him go anywhere beyond this point.
As for the three of you, you guys obviously pick up the glass pane. I imagine Eidolon and Wolfric will kind of balance it between themselves, make sure it doesn't smash as you head back to Frida's house to install said glass pane. When you get there, you hear an argument from the living room, the kind of older voice of the older gentleman, proclaiming that she shouldn't really be out of bed at this point in time, and the voice of Ran's mum not giving a fuck.
That's my Frida.
Your oh.
Oh, Ran said it.
Can I deflect missiles his words?
No.
I'm not even there. I didn't actually say that.
As you can kind of hear the two of them arguing, but her protesting that there is more for her to do than to just sit around in bed. As the kind of three of you pass by with a glass pane, she kind of catches your eye. You better make sure that's done right, or you're doing it again.
Slight sigh. I'll make sure to get it done, but we need to be out of here soon.
I don't care. You're doing it until it's done right.
And in the same sense, I'm getting it done, and we need to be out of here soon. Zeedmore sounded a little bit more exasperated that time.
Then get
I
it done
don't
right
do
the
a
first
job
time.
unless it's done right.
Then make sure it's done right the first time, so you can get out
Oh
of
my
here
god,
soon.
that's the point! As he'd carry the pane over to the window.
She kind of sighs and shakes her head. Polite one you've got there, Ran.
I know.
Just kind of stood around, twiddling her thumbs while
Eidolon fixes a window.
Eidolon fixes the window.
Occasionally I almost like whistle Wolfric over just to hand me something that I've placed a bit too far away from myself, but that's about it.
It's that,
Do you not have magic arms that can like?
I'm not
thought-
using them in someone's house, Ewan!
my thinking is the whole house building scene from Red Dead Redemption 2. Do 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 do.
but with
It's like building with.
but with Eidolon and Wolfric.
Yeah.
As Eidolon, can you give me a what would it be?
I can check the tools if you want.
Just porting it, Matthew. Just porting it so he doesn't fuck this up when we can go home. We can leave.
That's yeah.
What's
Sleight
the
of
best
hand?
important, Matthew?
Sleight hand for building.
Yeah, just sleight of hand, and I get to add my proficiency because I'm using my art sense tools.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Just take
proficient
the
in.
19. Just take the 19 and go. I don't need it. We're taking a
So
long
that's a
rest anyway.
That's a 25. Second.
25 for fixing the window.
There we go.
Rolling 25. You are able to fix the window in a relatively, I guess, nice house building scene.
Oh, I wonder how Ranaagash's vision went last night when he was sleeping, that he just foresaw Eidolon fixing a window really well.
Mhm.
And
then he saw you run out the window. He's like,
that's why.
Hmm.
As for, I guess, Eidolon and Wolfric, this is a sense for you to kind of get an insight into Ran's mum more than anything else, as despite her injuries, where she probably should be resting and tending to her injuries, she is doing quite a lot around the house. Even as the two of you are working away, she is making sure that you are fed and watered for the whole duration that you are spending making sure the window is fixed, as well as fussing over Ranaagash. She is not too happy when she obviously takes off your tunic to give it a wash, and she saw obviously a few of the blooded marks, and then you take your leathers off and it's just like almost all red, and then that's when it's like almost like grabbing the like earlobe and like pulling you down. It's like, what the fuck have you been doing? Is it's like very assertive mother that really shouldn't be assertive at this point in time, as she's just injuring herself further as she's doing so. As she's lecturing on you about the fact that, you know, you're now involved more than you should be, you're getting involved in more trouble, and you seem to be getting injured to the point of death. Also, blood is incredibly hard to get out of this tunic, and she sends you upstairs to go and get a fresh one, because you're not wearing this one again.
As it would be more a casual thing for Eidolon when she brings up the fact that he gets close to death, he'll just wave with a hand as he's sort of working away with the other. He's not the member of our group who's actually died, he's fine. More rather nonchalantly.
Someone's actually died?
As he'd more just give a shrug. Not realizing this isn't a common thing for traveling bands. It's sort of the thing with when you're part of a professional militia from the age of 8.
As Ranaagash just comes down, I imagine just fixing the toggles on like a new tunic, just kind of fixing it under his leathers, and she just kind of turns and looks at you. Someone's died?
And then you just similarly turn to look to freaking Eidolon, just...
What, is this not a common occurrence for traveling?
No.
You've seen how she fusses.
I was unaware that this was something uncommon to occur.
Deaths aren't normal.
News to
Right.
me.
Eidolon,
Yeah?
see, after we're done killing what we have to do and being on the adventure, we're getting you some fucking therapy. Jesus Christ.
Ranaagash?
Listen, to me,
Yeah.
someone dying every week isn't an abnormality, Wolfric.
You're going to kill something.
You probably shouldn't have said that, Wolfric.
It's not a person if it helps.
No, it doesn't! I would make it better if it was a person, because then I know he could deal with it!
Eidolon also
There's
puts his
also
hand
a
up and does
person
like
then.
that. Ken just does that.
We're killing two things. One of them's a person.
Well, as he sort of just like gestures from side to side.
Don't
Kind of.
bring in the tech. Yes, he's a person. Don't bring in the technicalities, you'll scare her more.
You realize with that very statement,
You realize that I don't think about things until they leave my mouth, correct?
you realize I have done the exact same thing by opening my mouth here, Wolfric.
You realize we're still doing this by continuing this back and forth.
We should probably shut up.
Yes, we should.
All three of you, kitchen now.
I am fixing a window.
I don't care, kitchen now.
I am respectfully.
Do what she says.
Yes, ma'am.
Eidolon sighs, pushing himself back up, letting the pain he's currently worked with just land and walk into the kitchen. Eidolon's getting large vibes to his own mother right now, which is very unpleasant. Considering he also didn't tell her that he was leaving.
Wolfric's mother was not like this.
As the three of you obviously stand in the kitchen, well, Wolfric, this woman's probably maybe only like 10 years older than you. As she just stares down at the three of you. Explain now.
Rather.
I need to fix a window so we can leave.
It's not what I need you to explain.
We are on a journey to deal with particular things that could be of particular difficulty.
Don't come on, be specific.
If you say
I'll say it so
particular
she doesn't have
again,
to.
I will smack you across the head.
We're going
There we
to
go.
kill a dragon.
Eidolon does weak jazz hands.
And then the man we're going to kill is also an extra dimensional.
Stop
Black
it
ooze
right.
werewolf
No, stop
monster.
it right there.
I was told to be more specific. You never said.
And in
to
that, you can't be more specific. We are hunting a dragon, and then we are killing a man. It is as simple as that.
But
Wolfric!
I'm sorry.
And you're going along with this, Ran?
Yes.
If it's any consolation, he's died the least of us.
Oh
Which
yeah, when
is-
in comparison someone's actually died, it doesn't
Which
take
is
very much.
0 times. He has died 0 times.
Give me a good reason why I should let my son leave with you.
Glad I'm not here.
Because his life
Shut
isn't
up.
yours to control.
Because your son has incredible gifts that could be used that make him excellent at what he does, and what he does is kick some ass.
Neither of those reasons are any good.
So what, you think you can just keep him safe here forever and not let him live how he wants to?
Whenever he's had the decision before to live how he wants to, he lives for someone else.
So why shouldn't you let him? If that's what he wants to do.
Because he's going to end up dead.
Not if I've got anything to do about it.
What happened to this other person then?
Wolfric, this is why you shouldn't talk right now.
If you can't guarantee that they survived under your watch, what's to say my son will?
Then he'll die doing what he wants to do, protecting what he wants to protect, and following the goals he wants to follow.
What he's doing just now isn't even on his own volition, so what are you saying on that?
Everything Ranaagash has told us is that he's doing this because he wants to protect the people he cares about. And he's coming with us because it's his damn best shot at finding out what he has to do and how he's going to do it.
He only left Meyer in the first place because the elders told him to.
And he's still out here. He didn't come home at the first opportunity, and we're not heading there now. If he wanted to head home, he could have done so already.
He knows he can't, not until he finds answers.
Then he could coop himself somewhere safe. He could have ran away for his own safety, but he didn't. Because it's clear that part of him cares about it too, not just because he's been told to do it. He's pushed himself further out here than any three of us have before. Don't stifle him under the pretense of keeping him safe. I would have made the same mistake.
It's not a mistake, it's just knowing you could have done better when there was no other option.
Your name, Frida, correct?
Yes.
You get to see your son live, and do what he wants to do, and do things he cares to do. I was robbed of that chance. You have a chance here to let your son live. Allow him to continue as he's been doing, as it's what he wants to do.
Is it, Ran?
Yes.
Can you tell me that honestly?
Yes.
Can you promise me you won't tell your father?
Tell him what?
That your journey has led you on the path of killing things and fighting things rather than going to the Citadel and finding answers in books?
Yes, I promise.
I mean, that led him to killing things anyway.
Because if he heard this, I don't know if he'd let you leave. And she kind of sighs, looks down, more stares at Wolfric. Very stern mother point as her tone shifts again. You better keep him safe. If he dies, I will kill you! And I'll make it fucking slow!
Understood.
Good. Eidolon, fix my window.
I would have been doing so now anyway.
Please don't start again.
No, I believe we've already come to enough of an understanding. As I'd give his mother a nod.
She gives you a nod. You can see her kind of, as she relaxes a little bit, she more massages her ribs and shoulder. She probably shouldn't have been as active or as aggressive as she was, but now she is just realising that fact.
Do you need some healing?
No. I'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll want to sit down, ice cold water, make sure it doesn't rip or tear through active activity.
I know how to look after myself. I know when I can push my limits. I'm married to an orc, for Christ's sake.
Yes, but what did this certainly wasn't an orc.
Then
As
you've
you go
never
in,
been with an orc.
As Eidolon would more just shake his head. More due to obvious lack of understanding of what that meant. He makes his way back to the windowsill.
She kind of takes a moment, obviously Wolfric going to give Eidolon more of a hand. She kind of stops Ran. Without them here, without them listening, is this really what you want to do? You're not just doing it because they told you to.
It's what I want, yes.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a party.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why.
I I never wanna hear you say
I
want
want it
that
that way. The delay made that awful.
The harmony, the
Beautiful. Matthew didn't join in. Sadness.
He's too emotional right now, and I can't
He
really
is, yeah.
blame him.
Ruined my moment.
Sorry.
You've thrown me off my rhythm.
now we're throwing him off his rhythm.
It happened!
Good as being able to see things if I don't do something about it. Good as this gift if I don't use it.
Because when people use it, they tend to abuse it. You know your father and I's opinion of what the elders did. They never really gave you a choice. I want to know that this is your choice.
Yeah.
Okay then. Well, there's no point of you and your friend staying in the rest stop. You have your room and they can take the spare room. You can stay here the night and I'll set you on your way tomorrow.
Thank you.
Just, I won't say don't die. Just try and find some happiness.
Alright.
She kind of stops and gives you a hug. It's kind of an awkward hug because she can't really hug you with one of her arms. It's a bit more, I guess, static. Hard to move. And she's also quite a bit shorter than you. But she does so, before kind of laughing and sending you to the Tulip and Brass to pick up some, I guess, additional extras. Bed linens, mostly. As well as stopping by the rest stop to pick up some extra slabs of meat for dinner. As you now have company. As Wolfric and Eidolon fix her window.
I don't know if Wolfric would ask anything whilst we're essentially doing the process of fixing the window.
Nope.
In that case, moniker of silence. Unless asked by anyone else.
No. As you get into the evening, the two of you are essentially kept in her house for dinner. She is a very good cook, as essentially you get a very rich lamb stew with the tatties and root veg.
Let's go!
Wolfric's feasting today.
Gets a good breakfast, gets a good dinner, the beds are made up for you.
I also fucking love stew.
Stew is super good. As the beds are made up for you, the kind of spare rooms are relatively boxy, side by side, kind of almost like attic rooms that have been converted. Even in some of them, a few of the after effects of perhaps orcish hunters have been left. You can kind of find the tips of some arrows and the strings of some bows, as well as some hunting knives that have kind of just been left. Looks like she puts up quite a few of the orcs when they come and stay. Ran, you stay in your old room. Over the years the memorabilia has changed, but your mum is very reluctant to throw anything out. So there is clutter under clutter. But it's home. As the three of you go to sleep that night, and Roderick, you go out on your job. But for now, we will end it for tonight. As you don't even get to know what that job is, Roderick! As for an emotional session for Ranaagash, and for a kind of passive session for the rest of my boys with some intrigue from Roderick. Don't worry, Paul, you will get to know what your job is. Just, I'll let you know for next week.
Next week on Twisted Fates, Roderick finds out what he's got himself into.
Dun dun dun!
Second half of that session was absolutely fantastic.
I love that. It's great.
That was so good.
I loved simping over Frida.
No, Paul!
I'm gonna reach through this monitor and slap you.
that emoji and like I think he's just got his hands reaching.
We just need that, but with Ranaagash's face and then lens flare.
We all know Paul's in for a little bit of lens flare.
I do rate lens flare. It's always funny.
As I hope everyone enjoyed, my boys and everyone watching, that is, tonight's session. And
I had great fun.
Going into next week, we will see you all then. But for now, it is goodbye from me, and goodbye from my boys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I'll help you. I will try to bring him to you. As long as you can promise me the dream store.
He kind of turns to look at you, his red eyes kind of piercing as he smiles at you. I can bring you your dream's door. I guess the question in my head is, what about your family?
About them.
I threatened their lives and you never asked for their safety. You never asked me to make a promise that they would stay safe if you obeyed me.
Will they stay safe? The dream store is supposed to help us.
I guess their safety is up to you.
Their safety is paramount.
Then let's hope you can convince Eidolon of that fact.
What now? What do I tell them? How did I come back?
He kind of cocks his head. How do you think you came back?
I mean, and I look around the room and see all the corpses. I assume the priests here, priests and priestesses, they did it? Or was it you? Or both?
It was a bit of both. If I had brought you back, let's just say you would be not as pretty nor as conscious.
Oh, stop.
And sadly, I need you to be at least one of those things by the time you get to the dream's door.
So, looking at the priestess, Dominant Death, her?
Yes. I told her that if she were to revive you, I would free her and those within this church. I did so, by giving the freedom that comes with death.
Seems like all your promises have hidden clauses.
Well, you learn a thing or two on the wall. Everything has a hidden clause there.
He just like flexes his claws, be like, hidden claws. Fine. The priestess revived me. But this has happened twice now. What's gonna happen to me?
Well, you might be a little broken. You might be a little... how we shall say, tainted.
I mean, can I still do what she has provided for me?
Perhaps, though it might be a little more grotesque.
I suppose I can reason with them and they might understand, given that I've been brought back twice. Things are obviously not going to be the same. And you say they're in Kinreen.
On their way. They're only half a day's travel out at the moment.
Suppose I shall try and meet them there and just pretend like everything's fine.
Everything is fine, Marcusar. If it's not, people start dying.
Looks around myself. Yeah. Are these the only dead?
In this building, yes. Though the building itself is empty.
Okay. Unless you have anything else, tell me. Or provide for me. Suppose I'll be on my way. I don't enjoy your company.
At least that goes both ways. Trust me, Marcusar, if I had my way, I would have preferred someone else be on that slab. Not you.
We all play with the hand we're dealt.
And I am making do with you.
Suppose at this point I would have collected all my things. Give like a final dagger stare at this fucker. And exit.
As you head out of the churchyard, he doesn't seem to follow you, at least perhaps not for now, taking his leave elsewhere. As, true to his word, there is no more dead, but the halls of the faith are very empty.
Could I go over to the altar of the old faith?
Yeah.
And look around once again, see if there's anyone there, see if he had followed me out of the room.
He is not.
Okay. I want to have a prayer to she. It's like, maybe even out loud, because no one's around to hear it. It's like, I hope this is what you had planned for me. I've been brought back twice now, and only once by your will. I don't know if I can turn against my friends. But I know that the Dream's Door will benefit us and the world.
Give me a wee religion roll.
It's a +1.
16.
16.
You feel a warm breeze, similar to, I guess, whenever she communes with you. That kind of soft summer breeze, gathering pollen and petals that seems to dance around you. You feel a voice try and talk to you, but it's almost like that sensation, you know, when you're kind of blacking out or kind of fading out and you kind of hear a conversation, but you can't really pick it up. It's just kind of the white noise in the background. It's almost like that, where she is trying to say something, you can hear her voice on the wind, but almost like you're just not quite able to tune into it. At least not all the way.
Yes, then I would stand up and begin to leave the halls of the faith. And maybe just keep my head low. I don't know how many people know that I'm dead. And I'm not sure if I want to freak everyone out.
Again. As you begin your journey to Kunreen. On your own. Somber and silent.
Yeah. Lots of stuff to think about.
Not like you have a choice.
Yeah. I'm really hating this situation.
Well, you died twice. I gave you a freebie once. I needed to make this as brutal as possible.
You know what? Absolutely fair.
I don't know. I think you can do it though, and I feel like this is a good. I wanted to make it as brutal as possible to start Marcusar on the path that we want him to be on by the end of the story, by the end of this campaign.
It's gonna be so tough to convince Eidolon.
Eidolon or Craig?
A bit of both.
If only someone else in the party was playing, like, you know, the cynical pessimist, then you'd have an easier time of it.
I think I could win over Matthew. If he was playing the cynical person, I think I could win him over.
I think you can win over Matthew. I think you could probably win over Ewan as well. I think Craig's going to be a bit harder to do, but I think.
But his suspicions are right, so you know.
I know, it's like, I will try and be compassionate. I will try and get his empathy, but at the same time, like, he's right.
Yeah, he's right. He's anything if not a good player.
Yeah. It's the funny thing of, it's like, I feel like at this point you should have the title The Bastard instead of Ranaagash.
Nah, I'm still the father of the Green Hand, regardless of what Deirdre has tasked me with. And whatever he has planned, it should benefit me and the Green Hand. As
you are now indebted to him. You have to do what he says when he says it, which will be interesting. So there's that one. You're not allowed to tell anyone else, though he has given you permission to tell Eidolon.
Try and find the right moment to tell him. Maybe I won't tell him immediately. But
you're not to get involved with blight and blighted matters.
You mean all the enemies that we've been going up against so far? You know?
So with that one, you're obviously allowed to assist the party, but actually trying to intervene is a no-go. Which, to be fair, alongside obviously looking at changing Marcusar's subclass, you're looking at changing his spell lists, so you can kind of almost balance that out, so you're not putting yourself at like a big detriment.
Yeah.
And then obviously the final caveat is whether you get your Dream's Door or not at the end, you have to bring Eidolon to Deirdre.
I'll try.
You just gotta be like buddying with Eidolon for like the next like 10 weeks.
Gonna follow him around like a bad smell. He's gonna be like, alright, there's something up, because we're not this friendly usually. And I don't know what the reaction's gonna be like when I turn up in Kinreen. I'll do my best to convincingly lie. I'll search a masterclass in lying or some shit.
Technically, for the end of this little segment, Marcusar would be coming back next week.
Class. I'm very excited.
I am also very excited, as essentially get to play having a warlock without having a warlock. And we'll need to see how that goes.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it.